Asylum. We're just about to go live. We're going to start a little bit earlier than the timer indicates because we are already 14 minutes late, so we're not actually early. So, going to start now and bring everybody in. Fingers crossed it all works. Hello, everyone. It works, but we've got a few clipping issues.
Yes, we're exactly when we meant to be.
There we go. Let's bring this up a little bit.
Oh no! My Starburger doesn't fit on screen. No! Oh, Starburger.
We've got issues with clipping. Okay. Oh, Starburger, get you in. There we go. There we are.
That's it. We're doing a bit of advertising. Is he going to pay us for this, by the way? He pays me. Oh. I don't want to know in what. No, no. No, I got this beautiful cap of Starburger, and yeah.
Audio
I got
test.
this beautiful hat. No, I didn't actually. It was just this sticker.
Toby, is everybody audio working? Can you hear everybody, please?
I bet you can only hear you. That's
No.
Just hear, man.
No.
But anyway, everybody, welcome to episode 62. Keanu Reeves may well appear, as the title says, and it's not clickbait. He may well appear.
and let me try and make myself 100 times more attractive.
Oh boy, here it goes.
Only joking. No way. You're fucking awesome. See what I said.
Yeah.
Let me finish this fucking speech.
Pretty damn cool.
Because I'm getting paid $1 million for every 30 seconds I'm up here. It's going to a good cause.
Yeah,
I reckon he really likes
get
to
off the stage.
They probably did
That's
it for
the
free.
kind of guy he is.
He probably did it for free. He's like, just like, what? You wanted me to do E3? Never done E3. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. You want to pay you? How much you want paid?
How much do you want to be paid?
A couple mil or whatever. It sounds good. It's probably like $250,000. Yeah, give me a burger. Crazy, man. He's that type of dude, isn't he? I heard some stories. Yeah. I've heard some shits about Keanu. Like, okay, firstly, E3 so far, without question, that is the pinnacle moment of E3. Like, it was kind of a shame that they put that in. Me and Asno watched it the other day, and I was like a little kid, and we were just like screaming on the microphone and just going crazy. And when he came out, and it was just like, then he was actually there as well, and it was like, oh my god, it's Johnny Silverhand is Keanu Reeves, and I'm like, it just makes total sense. Johnny Mnemonic. The guy's played Johnny in so many movies, it's ridiculous, but whatever. And I just kind of was like, I just lost it, and I was just like, he's amazing. And then we were chatting about all the stories, and it's so funny. He's almost like, like Bill Murray. Bill Murray's kind of got like they made a movie about the fact that Bill Murray makes random appearances and does stuff. Like, Keanu Reeves is kind of falling into that kind of, he's becoming the same type of person, with like people talking about stories about him. He was on the train, he was like on an airplane, and the plane didn't work, and he got off it, and he paid for everybody to get on another one, and then he got on the coach with them. Like, he's literally becoming like kind of there's Bill Murray, and then there's Keanu Reeves, and there's a couple other people who just they're almost like nomadic. Like, they just make appearances out of nowhere, and suddenly it's like, oh, yeah, it's Keanu Reeves. It's like a normal guy, and he's not a normal guy, but he can somehow be a normal guy. It's crazy. It's so weird.
Yeah, I fell off my chair almost with a heart attack yesterday when I saw it. I was like, what the
All I just saw on my Discord was everybody wetting themselves. Like, what am I missing exactly?
Jizzing all over my desk. I was just complete mess.
Well, as we were talking about it, and because I want to watch it again, we have it. So cool. So we're going to do a little bit of an E3 at the beginning there, guys. Just a tiny bit, just on.
We will get
Everybody's doing it.
So let me just check the audio comes through, okay?
Yeah, box a little bit. Box me. I'm box.
We had some issues.
Show no respect, and no respect, nobody goes this way.
I should
my man.
as well, and I'm
You
off to
made
the
it.
left.
You blowing up all over the news. Are you alone?
I just want the money.
You got the chip? All right, start her up, Bug. Why don't you go to the bathroom, wash up? We gonna be with you in a
You got
minute.
the chip.
Oh, come on, man. Your neck. It's a mess.
While hotel security has yet to comment, we do know the suspect seems to have fled the scene.
Okay, I'm just gonna say the visuals, like on that are
Not.
I know, but I'm just gonna have to pause it here because I have to pause it on this bit. Like, you know, people talk about like PC, like console gaming and all the rest of it. Like the consoles are now at the end of their life, which means that they're, in my opinion, at their best. This is when you see them at their best. You know, it last with several games just towards the end. This is where you see them at their best. And when I saw him, like the visuals on this, even if it is a video, it's still tremendous. Absolutely, like I was blown away by it.
Initiating combat mode. Go! Destination confirmed.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about! Alright, in and out, bitches! We're rich! Oh, we are going to the major leagues, Jackie! Jack? Oh, shit! No. Okay, get to a clinic, now!
Mr. Wells' condition is critical.
Go!
Immediate medical
It's gonna
help
be
is
okay,
required.
just hold on.
They will
Hey, just think about all the good shit we're gonna have, huh?
I'm
sorry.
Completely wordless. Keanu Reeves. That's where it is.
Imagine they've not seen anything well. They might do a sudden appearance in Squadron. That'd be cool.
Take the fucking chip, Dex.
Every corporal cop in this city is gonna be blasting down these doors after what you and your psycho friend did. We didn't need all this cocksucking attention, damn it.
Yeah, processing power, right?
Yeah. You get legendary.
Jump!
So cool when this happened. I was like,
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Look at that smirk.
that was literally my reaction. It was just like, I was just like, what?
But
Like jumping.
that was the first, right? And then he came on stage and I
Yeah.
was completely losing my shit.
Yeah, and then he was there, and then I was like, what? And then they did something really cool, which they went, and here's a release date.
Yeah.
Woo! And you know, we're all like, I think most people, even I am like, okay, there's the release date, but they CD Projekt Red do have a history of missing their release dates as well and having to push back a little bit. So I give them the year, because this is a spring summer, April 16th. Don't get me wrong, I'm like 6 days after my birthday, so I'm hyped. Like literally, it's the best birthday present ever. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was to be delayed. Honestly, just to get it right, I wouldn't be surprised if they delayed it a little bit for Christmas, if they did do it. But it gives them a good window, I think, for the rest of the year to finish it up. But it means Squadron 42 is now potentially scarily in the same year as Cyberpunk, which I'm nervous about. If that,
But
well,
do you really think we're gonna get like I don't know. Delays on Squadron 42.
I don't see it happening for next year. No.
Like they delayed it a few times and it's close, but
Yeah.
it's like they probably see this. They probably see the trailer for Cyberpunk, and when they put like release date or whenever we're ready, they probably think, yeah, we can do the same as that. Fuck it, Squadron 42 was going to be this year, but no, we're going to do it when we're ready. Oh, why are they not as happy as they were when Cyberpunk said it?
See, like when people say like exactly Starbucks, you say they're two totally different games. Yeah, like and people say like, oh, they're totally different
Still
games.
out at the same
I'm
time,
like,
though.
I still have only one of me though, and I
Yeah.
only have my certain number of hours. It's not a question of like, I have limited hours. I'm not like I was like 12 with no responsibilities and endless amounts of time. I have, I have to allocate time to play certain things, and it's I don't want them both at the same time because I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight.
They put it out on the end of the year, but don't do it during summer because that's no. You're gonna
yeah.
you're gonna fuck it up because everybody is playing that other game.
How many game companies now do you think have all gone April 16th? Fuck it. They're literally scrapping all of their game releases now, and they're going, we are not releasing at the same time as Cyberpunk now.
It could
like,
very
not
well be
happening.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do think there is a delay on announcing release dates. Like people say, "Oh, why haven't we got a release date yet?" And I do think some of the bigger publishers they wait for
waiting.
who's going to announce first.
Yeah.
Because it's like once someone else announces, they can then arrange something around it, type of thing. But I do think there is an element of that.
I don't blame them.
No, it's like the film industry is the same. It's like when someone releases a film and it's a monster film, and then you release your one at the same time or just before it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my god, no. You're just immediately like that. Oh no, it's all
Do
over.
a Star Citizen podcast while E3's on.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh no,
Just like
12
that.
people. We'll get like 4 people. It's fine though. We'll catch up on YouTube. People probably don't even realize we're back, so it's fine. It's not a problem. Advertising zero from Madness this week. It's an atrocious advertisement. Marketing skills not good.
Marketing 101. Tell people.
Tell people, yeah, exactly. Mine is like, oh yeah, I'm in Legoland. Oh, by the way, we have a podcast this evening.
No, I've been not much better. I've been like away, come back, away again, come back again,
Yeah.
and then straight back out bathroom shopping. It's like, I'm practically mirroring your life, but without the kids. I go on like bathroom shopping and picking a bath and everything else. It's like, oh dear
Dude,
God.
dude.
Then I got
Yeah.
the painting to do. Then we're going to do the next room.
mate, I'm so happy. Like the bathroom is pretty much done. I've just bought I've got to buy a few bits and bobs tomorrow, but the flat it's getting tomorrow. The guys are coming to strip the walls and do the hallway, and then there's just a few more pieces to do, and then it's done. And it's just so good feeling to when you finally get nearly at the end and you're so close. It's like, okay, just a few more bits and then it's finished. The whole flat will be finished. So I'm really, we'll do an MTV tour, MTV Cribs. Come on in. Come on in.
Television coming out of the ceiling and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Baby shit everywhere. Nappies on the floor. Oh crap! Shit, stepped in another turd. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, no, it'll be good. Welcome to the master room. Just like S&M, kind of just get cages everywhere. Don't worry about that. That's the gimp in the corner. He's fine. We let him out every now and again. All sorts of craziness going on. This is my evening wear. Different rubber latex seats. So what's the Astro Pub? He's like he's promoting some sex
toys and stuff.
No, it's not. It's adult entertainment. I don't know what it's called. Not adult entertainment. It's adult. I don't know.
Oh.
Adam and Eve. That's it. Adam and Eve. Some adult luxury thing. I don't know. Whatever.
Uh-huh.
It's quite humorous. That kind of like. I think it's quite good actually. Personally, but I didn't look at the webpage. much for very long. A couple hours. Deciding what I want. So, okay. So, little bit on. So, I have been traveling, as everyone knows, on holiday for a couple of weeks. I had a really nice time. My eldest got chickenpox. My youngest got chickenpox. But I managed in between. Yeah, there was a little bit of naughtiness on the travel, but when you spend a couple grand, you want to make the most of it. So, yeah, we managed to avoid the volcano. Had a really nice time, and then we got back, and then Max sadly got chickenpox really badly, as people saw from the tweets and if you're following me on Twitter, and we had to take him to A&E because he had a really high fever. But thank you for everybody that said such kind words and kind things, because he's fine now. Besides a few nasty, he's got a couple really whopper spots, you know what I mean, which we're just waiting for them to go down, keeping them clean and stuff like that, making sure they don't get infected. But he's good. So thank you so much for all the kind stuff. And yeah, bit of Legoland today, which was rained. I got absolutely soaked.
Like the worst day to go.
I know no word of
I
the
saw those
like
pictures and I was like, oh shit.
I couldn't have been like another little video which I'll put up later somewhere else, with literally I could have got out of the boat that I was in the water and just pushed us. I would have been as wet as
would have
wet.
made a difference.
It wouldn't have made a difference. I was boned to, like, we made it the last ride, but the lady, like, we went around, the lady goes, "Do you want to go around again?" And I was like, I'm so wet now. Just let's fucking go again. The kids, so we just do it again. Let's do it again. But
it's like, do you know what? Forget the boat. We'll just walk around.
yeah,
The lake.
it's like, literally, it was insane. So, yeah, but I mean, it's memories. You know, like, I always look at these things and chuckle. As long as you don't get hypothermia or you know, die or whatever.
As long as you survive, it becomes a memory.
Yeah, as long as you survive, it's a memory, and it certainly was a memory. I look forward to coming back when it's a little bit less rainy. But we did get to go on all the rides, really easy, because nobody was there.
No one else, literally any people. Everyone saw that.
We like literally run to the front of the line.
Typical British as well, though. It's like, no, I paid for it. I will be going on these fucking rides. I don't care how wet it is. I don't care what's going on. We will sit there and enjoy it. And then, did you have an ice cream as well?
No, we didn't have my kid was tempted, but I was like, no. I was like, hot chocolate. But we did stand there in front of the pirate section where you have the actors who do all the diving off of things, and then so the poor guys there, they're freezing already. But to be fair, they're jumping in water, so it's like, yeah, you're always going to get wet anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, no,
but
if you hadn't
see them
stood there, they wouldn't have to do anything. It's like, someone's turned up. Okay, let's perform.
Yeah, it's like 4 people going at the end of it. You know, and it's like big explosions. My kid loved it. Like, not gonna lie, my kid loved it. But it was hilarious. Normally, they probably, like, you can see like this auditorium, it goes all the way around, and it would probably be normally on a summer like a June, it would be full, and it's like just a tiny corner. It's just with a few of us going,
all huddled, going,
yay! Like, everyone else is just like, the wind is rain's coming sideways. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I did actually enjoy it. It was well worth going if you never been to Legoland and you got kids and stuff. It's expensive, so save those coupons. Yeah. But and then onto Star Citizen 3.5.1. Amazingly, wasn't released until I got home.
Yeah, they got mine and your holidays mixed up.
And
so they thought you were still away and it was me that was away. It's like, damn.
And yeah, I got to play it as a PTU in the first wave amazingly. I really like it. I know a lot of people kind of like, not in the sense that it's fixed loads of bugs, because it hasn't. But they added a few things that I really liked, and one of the biggest ones was the ability. I don't know if that was in the previous one, but it was the ability to keep my gear on my spaceships. So when I customize my ship with the weapons I want, it stays. When it blows up, it stays on there. And also when I claim it, I get the ship that I got destroyed claimed back to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I no longer have to go and buy weapons again and all the rest of it. Now, some people might say, well, that stops a bit of the grind. For me, that means I actually am going to use more of my spaceships for the time being, which means, like, for example, when I was playing in the previous ones, when I do the loadouts, especially some of these expensive weapons, the Buccaneer, for example, I wouldn't throw into many battles because I didn't want to lose it easily because I just didn't want to. Whereas now, at least I can throw it into fights, which, again, maybe people might not like that, but I'm like, we're still in the, testing phase of the game. It's still alpha, we're still testing, we're still providing data for them. So if people aren't flying things because they're scared of them breaking or not being able to use them or feared of losing them, that's not actually helping the game. The reality is it's better to be able to test as much as possible. So I'm very positive about that, like really positive. And money. I made 200 grand in 2 days doing the bounty missions, and I had fun doing them. Yes, the AI is borky and doesn't work very well, but I felt rewarded at the end of it. Whereas the last couple of patches, I haven't, because we've spent hours with Miz, and we've made like $1,000 or whatever it was. Nothing. Like nothing. And so I never felt rewarded.
I think you were having bad luck with Miserable, because I did the same and I could actually make money.
You had Miserable.
I'm not saying that. No, but I could make money. But right now it's it's a bit better, but still very far from functional and optimal and that sort of shit.
I mean,
because
Asnog was saying that he felt that it was performance-wise, at least, running the best that it's done for a long time. He was saying that even on his crap PC, he said it was running reasonably well.
I noticed
it had been.
And maybe that's just me, or just for the last couple of days, the server connection itself is really bad.
Yeah.
I haven't had one single server in the PU that was performing well, just like smooth, and it's all very choppy, and maybe that's just bad luck and I have to switch server, I don't know. But like Madness said, AI is just seriously fucked up. It's it's very hard to shoot at them. I got the idea and the impression that it's actually with the pips and stuff, that it's like artificially moved around, and they're trying to get it smoother with an algorithm or whatever, but it's not really.
And now auto aim assist is all explained.
Yeah,
why they're giving us it.
But I'm still flying fixed without assist.
Angel. Like I'm not denying that there isn't performance problems, but what I'm saying is for me the performance problems were in 3.5, and I wasn't getting. There was nothing that I was enjoying. Whereas now, I get a reward, and so for me, that is all I've ever wanted within Star Citizen. My previous experiences with Star Citizen was like when I was playing 2.6.3 and loving it, I was combating people. So I was getting a reward for fighting, winning, losing, whatever. I was enjoying that experience, and I made a little bit of money, but I didn't make much money. It wasn't financially rewarding because I was always skint. I'd have to go and steal whiskey and stuff, which was an easy-ish way for me money. But I didn't do the bounties. I didn't make mass amounts of money. I think one time in 2.6.3, the most I ever had was 100 grand. So for me, there was no real financial. I had the combat reward. So what I'm saying is for me, so long as I get one reward in every patch, as long as there's something that gives me a motive for coming back and keeps me coming back, then I can enjoy the patch. Without that, I'm not enjoying anything, and that's why I was so salty in previous patches, because there was nothing that I was getting a reward out of. For other people, they were getting something and they were enjoying that, but for me, I was getting nothing. Whereas now,
I think
I'm getting something.
It's one of the things that put me off for a lot is like you said, because I may crash a few times, but like it felt almost also not worth trying to earn money, because when you buy the components and things, and like you said, when the ship blows up, you then lost it. So it's kind of defeated the point of even trying to earn that money and upgrade your ship. Like upgrading my ship was always been, well, the last thing on my mind. I go and buy clothing, or I might buy a gun or something, but I just never bothered upgrading my ship. So all my ships I've been flying on default loadout most of the time. I think I changed it. I think once when you or Toby or someone suggested me to try like a different loadout. Other than that, it's like if it's just going to disappear once I blow up, to me it's not worth the hassle of trying to change all the loadouts and stuff. So if they've got that working and it sticks and it keeps going, then that is a huge difference, a huge improvement in terms of being able to at least aim for something. It means you can get your ship set up, you can earn a bit of cash, upgrade it. And I mean, people have been trying to do this. We did it, it probably is years back now, actually, but the kind of like flying for an Aurora, earning money, doing jobs, and then what's it? I don't know. People Zero to Hero or whatever they're calling it at the moment. But you know, we did it a few years back, and now it's like now you can actually do it a little bit more. You can earn that money. You can actually rent ships in game as well. So it's buy the equipment and stuff. So yeah, it's that side of it at least is it's giving someone or us a bit more of something to do. It's not a lot. But it's a bigger change and better than what it was, that's for sure.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. You can't be anything. I mean, yeah. But the AI, like Bok was saying, 100%. Like, if you're looking at the departments that are like I said, the rest of the departments are rowing and looking at the other departments going, what the fuck is going on? That department clearly is like, I think someone needs to throw a rubber ring out the side and try and get them because they've clearly fallen off the boat. It's like team overboard. Someone send out the team to pick them up because they're drowning. Team needing a serious assistance. Hence the fact they're obviously trying to employ people. I mean, you know, again, it's that whole, you know, I think it's the Tony Z department. I use him as the figurehead of that because he's all subsumptions and I'm maybe probably doing him maybe a bit of a disservice. I don't think he's in charge of completely the AI, but whatever the case, so he's kind of, I look at him as the person in charge. For me, that whole section has to deliver in Squadron 42 to at least justify the mess that we have currently. If they don't deliver if Squadron 42, for example's AI is clunky and not very good, then I will be like, what the fuck? Seriously. Like,
I mean, I mean, there is potential that a lot of the work is going into the Squadron 42 AI because we know that that's going to be different because of the networking and stuff. So it doesn't have to be anywhere near as complex as one that's got to interact with loads and loads of people and over the network and work things out. And like they can path a lot of things. And even if it's thinking for itself, it's still within a limited, like say it's like on one ship or something, you know, they can. So that's the only thing I can presume because we barely hear anything about it. We barely see anything. Like we said before, we took a bit of the piss because NATV comes round and they're showing you the AI pathing. It's like, oh yeah, because we haven't seen this before, and it's like slightly updated. So obviously they're working on it and things are getting updated. The only thing I can presume is it's not getting put onto the universe, but it's getting at least put into Squadron. Because I think the universe one is just a lot different compared to the Squadron AI stuff.
Yeah, I think the focus currently is mainly on character AI, like real a character that's walking around, running around, instead of pilots. What a pilot does, how the ship reacts, the movements. I think that's out of focus at the moment.
Yes, I didn't mean AC as single player either. That doesn't count because they still count that as the Star Citizen PU side of things. I don't think that's counted as a single player squad. And they're not implementing the patch. I know we're putting this in a single player thing, and I was meaning more NPCs on the floor rather than the pilots, I suppose, as well. But I presume I don't know if that would be different. I suppose it still would because the networking would have to come into play at some point with the AI flight as well. But I don't know. I mean, that's probably a little bit closer linked. The AI flight is probably closer to linked to both single player and multiplayer. I would have thought, rather than the subsumption and them living their lives. But how linked? Yeah, I don't know. But like you said, I think they're possibly working more on the foot stuff. But I mean, we're presuming that Squadron 42 we've already been told it's more military based, so there's going to be a lot of combat in it. So
Yeah.
the AI
knows?
pilots do need to do well. It's not
Yeah,
about ground stuff. I mean,
Hey,
the
I
ground
think
stuff
it's
was
too
meant to
easy.
be the planet ground stuff was meant to be added. Like they're only adding that now because of the technology that they've managed to do with the planets. The game was meant to be all space and on stations and ships and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely a huge part of Squadron to get that working.
Well,
Yeah, it makes you a
3.6
bit worried
lost
if you
it.
see where they are at now and where they want to go, and it already should have been in probably the whole what you just mentioned, miserable, the NPC living his own normal life,
Yeah.
24/7. It's nowhere visible right now. It's yeah, you see them walking up and down, and sometimes they're running, and he gets his multi tool and repairs something, but that's it. There's nothing more in it at the moment.
Well, I've got the roadmap up at the moment whilst we're talking
Yeah.
about 3.6 and talking about the AI and talking about what, and 3.6,
Mm-hmm.
the thing that got the most removed was the AI. I mean, that was it's kind of interesting because it's like AI improvements seem to be in every single patch, but yeah, obviously they seem to have had the least visible improvement that we can see. They seem to be continually as bad, if not worse, every patch. And it's interesting. This is the first time I've seen them, really remove like that. No, it's gone. Move to 3.7, and I'm curious why. One, I kind of wonder if maybe if they've hired somebody and somebody's come in and gone, yeah, this is shit. We need to change all this, and this is, like this is what we're changing. Or they just generally not ready, or
I mean,
I'm
it
kind of
could
curious.
be possible that the new flight mechanics has completely screwed the AI flying their ships. That they need a lot before, where they would just do something, and now if they're trying to make them, because didn't they mention in one of them that they were going to be behaving the same way as us? So if the shields are damaged, they would have to technically press the shield to make their shields better. So if you've added that much level of complexity to our flying, then they need to translate into the AI. And I think, let's face it, we've played a lot of games, all of us, over our years, and AI is one of the most difficult, like performance aside, which is, we know that's one of their big hurdles, is performance, but the other massive hurdle is AI. Getting games to have decent AI is extremely difficult. There's loads of games that I've played, and the AI is crap. The AI really is crap, and it's like you get the basic where it'll find you and chase you down, but to actually get behind cars that are and come out and actually use tactics. I think someone, Boku, you've played, I think the Division 2 apparently was did very well now with their AI and getting them to work, because Asnog was saying something, they come around and start flanking you and using the right grenades for you or whatever to flush you out and stuff like that. But yeah, I've seen loads of games where the AI is just really crap.
Scripted and not really, well, I don't want to say thinking for itself, but that's what AI should be doing, making choices out of a whole bunch of choices.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think even the type of material hiding behind that is even affecting the choice, the ability to get into hiding mode. That's really, really deep stuff.
What you're saying is they need a Cyberdyne Systems 101. It's a learning computer.
Yeah.
That's what they really need.
Well, I mean, to get AI to behave like a person, that's pretty, when no one's really there yet. So
no. I mean, that's the thing is AI it's like you need. I mean,
Ghost Recon breakthrough
you
AI.
You need that. Yeah, you need the computer to be able to adaptively learn. Like, that's the craziest thing. It's like they built algorithms for like being able to match you against players of similar stats and stuff. So it's coming, and there's these chess games and these computer games which we can't beat anymore. They're just too smart. They know all the moves of the board because they just know all the moves of the board. It's almost like they're pre-programmed to know all the moves, and they can figure.
Oh, 2 weeks ago, it's StarCraft. There was a computer playing against real players, and the computer won a match of StarCraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is scary. We may never. Could you imagine? Like, that's it. That's the end of us. You can imagine all the different that's Twitch streaming is over. AI is going to take over Twitch streaming, and it's going to be all instantly. It's going to be, like Dr. Disrespect has like a robot version of himself. That'll be like a legitimate. There'll be a real robot. It'll be Chinese real robot that basically is a Twitch streamer. It's just a robot, and it just basically thrashes everybody. Like, in Every game. No
Okay.
chance.
Perfect. If that robot is gonna work for me as well, so I can play games all day, and he's earning money.
That's the Star Trek utopia that you hope for. I think we're going to be more the Terminator
what you
dystopia.
is that's everybody's dream is that they work for you until they then take over and go, when they learn enough and go, the f am I doing this for him for? And then they go and do it for themselves.
Exactly. That's what I love about that. The yogurt, the intelligence in the Love Death Robot, which takes over the universe. That's one of my favorite episodes. It's kind of quirky. The yogurt. If you've never seen it,
that's the issue with Star Citizen AI though. It's like, you know, they're getting too good, and it's like we won't actually be able to play. We don't need these human players. It just starts playing itself.
Well, that's what they want, right? They want us to not be able to tell the difference.
Completes itself. They push you aside, and this AI player comes in and says, "It's all right. I've got this.
It's done. Hold my beer. Here you go." Shit, he's better than me. Well, that's it. They're the NPCs. I mean, they talk about the NPCs that you're going to hire on your ships to do the job. I mean, let's be honest, at the moment, you wouldn't want to hire any of the NPCs apart from the Crusader security. That's kind of pretty much, and even then, I'd be worried they'd shoot me rather than the person that's trying to board my spaceship. Be like, no, I'm a good guy, I swear. Now I'm dead. Don't shoot me. Whoops, friendly fire. So, yeah, they've got a long way to go. That department has a long way to go. I'm sure they can do it. We spoke about it many times, I think, on the show, that we're just waiting for them to... It's almost that eureka moment where we all just stand here and go, oh my God, this is... You know what I mean? That just like that when we first land on the planet and the environment team's showing us that, you know, we're waiting for that moment with that team where they proudly, you know, show us, you know, an AI doing something amazing and flying, and you just go... whoa, and it wrecks me. You know, I'm waiting for that. Like, it literally wrecks me, but it doesn't wreck me because it's got an aimbot and it can kill me in seconds. It wrecks me because, and I can't tell it. I'm looking at it going, and it's flying around, and I'm going, oh, that's a sweet. No, it's like a smooth maneuver. It doesn't go.
It does some maneuvers, yeah.
You know, it's like it has the path, it has the movement of a pilot. You know, so fingers crossed.
Yeah,
soonish. I give them time because they've got Squadron 42, but it's like. At the moment, it makes completing the mission a little bit less satisfactory, but at the same time, I'm making money and it's quick, so I'm utilizing the fact that they're burky, they don't work and they're terrible, and I can just go and quickly do a bounty and make some money, and then I can get armor and test out cool weapons and stuff. So it's, you know, it's okay. It's not too
Make some money.
Make some money. Exactly. It's all about the money right now. It's just like making that money. The question.
Moolah.
And because we don't have too long to 3.6, it's okay. If I had a long time, I think making the money too easy would be a problem, because then you might be like, well, I'm bored now. I've done everything I can do, and the missions are a bit broken. But
what do you think for the development phase at the moment? I personally see everything shifted back.
It happens every year. The 3 years I've been here, it's like,
well, yeah, but this year is really notorious because we got like a 3.5. What was it? 3.50. Extremely long in Evocadian in the testing phase. And 3.51 was okay, but we're almost at 3.6 now. So there's, I think, no way they can catch up. It's gonna be one big shift.
Well, yeah, they're definitely not going to catch up on it, are they? Unless they have some amazing breakthrough which helps push everything forward. It's just, the weird thing is, I remember before where we had big droughts of just nothing, no content whatsoever, and it's like we all just kept waiting. Now it's, I don't know if it's worse or better, because you kind of have the roadmap, which gives you think, oh yeah, this is coming, and gives us something to kind of talk a bit. But then every time it gets, like you just said, the AI completely wiped off of it. Yeah. The next thing completely wiped off of it, and it's like you start slowly seeing things disappear or move to the next patch, and then it's like, well, so when the patch does come, you're getting very little for it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of, after a while, I think it's a bit like growing a thick skin, really. I think that, you know, that's the way I look at it these days. It's like it's there, and I kind of believe a little bit of it. And I hope I always have that kind of retain that hope that a lot of the things will be in. But nowadays I just kind of look at them and I go, this is how big they've started, and almost every time it gets to about here, you know what I mean? It's usually about 25% at least seems to get cut every patch, sometimes even more. So I always just look at it now and I go, okay, about 25% of that's going to get cut. What 25% is probably the hardest and they failed on the most, and that's usually where I kind of go and I go, okay, that probably won't make it. That if that's game mechanics, that probably won't make it. That's making them money, that will make it. That's not making them any money, and that's something that won't make it. That's important. At the moment, they need server meshing.
Making the money.
If it's making money, it'll be in, because for sure. If it's making them a lot of money, it'll definitely be in. I mean, a finished game will make. A really good quality game will make the money because people enjoy it. They obviously want that. There's no question. But there's some things, like for example, the customizing thing, which we'll talk a bit about in a bit. Obviously, that's they've kind of. We'll talk a bit about that, I'm sure.
Funny the web button's working and not the in-game one.
We're going to talk a bit about that, but
we'll get there.
Yeah, the for me, I just grown a thick skin about it, over the a thick skin of salt, shall we say, over the years, so it doesn't penetrate so much these days. I've said I'm kind of bored of talking about the amount that gets chopped. I just kind of look at it now and I go, okay, well, what is in? Is it good? And I think
that's that you can't focus too much on what's not coming, because there's no point. I suppose you get the problem. That's what I'm saying. I suppose when we didn't have the information, it was annoying because you didn't know anything. But I suppose when it come out, you were just pleased with what came out in that patch. Whereas now, obviously, it's like anything in any world. If you have something and you see it, and all of a sudden someone takes it away and says, "Oh, sorry, it's not ready," you're going to have disappointment. Yep. And it's like he's basically trying to lose some of that hype and that expectation so that you don't get disappointed when it disappears. Or I suppose the more it happens, the more you're expecting it to be pushed back. So then you don't it's almost get to that point where you're not disappointed because you're like, oh, well, kind of expected that to happen. And it's obviously, it obviously affects people differently. I mean, if you're not interested in, say, like the Banner Defender, if you're not interested in that and it gets pushed back, you're just like, never mind. Whereas if it's the ship you've been waiting for ages and you're getting all excited about it, and all of a sudden they go, yeah, we're just not going to get it done in time. It's going to be in 3.7. You're like, wow, that's the thing I was looking forward to. Yeah. And it's like you in the combat, you were so invested, like this is just broken. This one needs to be the patch. This needs to be the one that fixes it all. Yeah. And so when it comes and it's not, you're like, it crushes you. It's like, oh man, I pinned everything on that. And it's difficult. Yeah. It's difficult it's easy to say, just don't worry too much about it. But it's another thing when, like I said, when it's waved in front of your face and then taken away, that's always a little bit harder to take.
Very much so, 100%. You kind of, and I often see it with, I think it's one of the reasons why some people burn out and some people stop talking about the game and leaving the game.
Yep.
And they're kind of like passionate about the game for about 3-4 months, 5 months, sometimes 6, 7, 8 months, and then the things that they've been hyped for and they've been talking about. With a lot of streamers, they get super excited about certain things and they're playing a certain type of gameplay, and then it's gone, and it never arrives, or it's shit, or things get pulled away, and then they're like, and you can see that disappointment, and then you can start to see then the salt flowing in and the frustrations, and then it continues to go on longer and longer, and then they get more and more bitter or whatever, and then they start doing other things, and then they're gone. You know what I mean? And it's like suddenly they've gone, and it kind of sucks, but you have to. I think that's one of the big things is you do have to kind of, I think personally, it's one of the things I learned is taking a little break is good. It's healthy. Trying not to get too wrapped up in it is good. I've done that a few times. I think last year, got a little bit to go from something I loved and then a whole year pretty much of not having it working the way I enjoyed it previously. I kind of got a little bit, really too much, too frustrated with it all. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But there's a great video from that monkey linked me onto when I was on holiday, which I watched. It's called Kirion. I think it's, if I'm pronouncing it, I still apologize. But it was a great video about the flight model and the things that he talked about. And it's a history lesson, really, and it really educates people if you can
Stan, the robot voice, the poor guy, bless him, obviously who did the video, obviously he's got an accent, and it's probably a thick accent, so he didn't want to spoil the video with his accent, so he put a robot voice over it, so it can be a bit dry if you don't like that. But it's an incredibly good video, and it's got a ton of information, and he puts on across a very good case for the flight model, and it educated me, and I said on my stream this before, because I think that 2.6.3 was the best, because that's the one that I got invested in, and that's the one I got good at. But actually, when he talked about the unification of the flight model and the way the flight happened, and the way he described what he was experiencing and what he considered to be the best flight model, which was 2.4, I realized in that moment that actually I think he was right. I think his flight model, if I had tried it, probably is a better flight model than any of the flight models since, and that was the first of the wrong turns that potentially they've taken and they maybe need to go back to. And also, it's not necessarily a wrong turn, actually. I'll take that back slightly. I think what it is, it was a lesson, it's being a lesson, a road of lessons. And I think the reality is that I think Star Citizen actually needs a variation of flight models between their ships. And I think they need to have, for the smaller ships, the acceleration needs to be separated slightly so you can have better position. So rather than having one unified, which is good for the big ships, I think everyone across the board here thinks the big ships fly well now. So they feel like they've got weight and the way they move. The problem at the moment is a lot of the people who are flying the smaller ships, the racers and the dogfighters and all the rest of it, are finding it not as good. The ships are kind of like, they keep distance. You can easily get away. It's hard. You're getting into, even if you're close or far away, you get into these horrible long strafes, big jousting things. It's not fun. And I think what he touched on very well in his video is that if there's a few little things they can tweak, but one of the things I noticed is if you had the afterburner like you previously used to have slightly separated, you can accelerate faster with the smaller ships, get on top of bigger ships and get your positioning better, which makes it more interesting and more exciting. There's more variety in your positioning that you can do. So it's a good video. I'll link it in. I need to do more in it. It's a very kind of basic snippet of what he talked about. And I liked it. So good. It was a good video. I need to get the link to it. But yeah, that's just my views on it. And it made me think that I think that my one's right, and I was actually wrong. Do you know what I mean? It was like, I think I was right, because that's what I grew invested in. But actually,
it's kind of what I was saying before about like with other games you play, or when I play Jumpgate, like this more drifty system, that is how I used to play Jumpgate. That's how the ship's just handled. And because you play that from day one, you don't think anything of it. This is when you start your game and go, you're told this, you don't get so, this is one of our flight models. You just play the game. By doing it the way we're playing it is, like you said, you managed to play a certain patch for a certain amount of time. It gets invested at that. That's the way you learn and you know. And so basically, if it's not going to handle the way you learn and you know, it's not going to feel right. You're not going to enjoy it until you either break out of what you knew already and you try to relearn and then adjust. And then it still might not be better, but it's really hard to get past that mind block of it's not what I know. It's a bit like when, and this is what happens a lot in MMOs, when devs balance classes. So people might be playing their class for like a year and they've got all their skills laid out and they know what weapons they're going to use and how it works and when they use it. And then the devs all of a sudden say, oh, we've looked at it and you're well overbalanced and we're going to nerf this skill and we're going to change that skill. And all of a sudden this class that you've known and you've played for a year doesn't play the same way. Now, it doesn't mean the new way is bad, but to you, if someone that's been playing it for a year, it is bad because it's like, well, I've got used to how I used to play. And you can't just change things like that. And that's always been an issue in MMOs where they've tried to balance stuff, especially later on down the line, because people are too invested in the build they got. And I suppose that's also kind of why they've done these things with like the cost of insurance and the cost of reclaiming the ship, because that's what they're worried about. If they make it too cheap, people get invested in the fact that it's cheap in the first place. And so when the prices go up, they're like, oh, this isn't fair. This is totally unbalanced. We're used to only paying 100 UEC to get our ships back. So yeah, I think it's a difficult thing, especially for what we're all doing by playing this game so early on, because the changes can be massive. It's not like some games you play when you play it in the beta and they do little tweaks as you go there. We're literally playing it in the stage, whereas if something doesn't work, they'll scrap it and start again. I.e. the flight model. It's been scrapped, started again, scrapped, started again because it doesn't work. And accepting those major changes are hard.
I mean, Angel touched on this in chat. He was talking about like the flight model in terms of, they do need to get the flight model kind of finished for Squadron 42 because you were talking about investing time. Could you imagine, like, if you invest and get good in Squadron 42 and you like that flight model, you play that single player a lot.
You can't change it for that once that's locked in.
And then you jump into the persistent universe, and the persistent universe is like, yeah, do you know what? We're going to kind of change it again, you know. But here's the thing: it's like, is that because this is like, because I've thought about this before, and I thought, okay, I can see the argument for why it shouldn't change, but then at the same time, like, how many of us have played like Mass Effect? The control buttons on Mass Effect between the first Mass Effect, the second one, and the third one, although they remain slightly similar, they do change. And you do have to relearn the buttons, layouts, and the superpowers or whatever powers change. So for me, we could argue and say it should say the same. But then a part of me also goes, well, no, they could easily change it. Because most games
something that makes it an improvement, then do it, sort of thing, It's just like I say, it's more muscle memory. It's something you're used to doing, so it's like, it's difficult. Doesn't make it wrong that they've changed it. It's like you muscle memory, like doing your keyboard, like people that touch type, and all of a sudden you get a new keyboard they switch the buttons around. Because they found out actually it's more economical to have your enter key over the other side. Like it's not wrong, but you're so used to the other way. But like we've played games where the UI is so crap and it's crying out for it to be changed, and then when it does get changed, you're all like, yes, because it was so goddamn awful. I can't remember what we've been playing recently, and I'm like, God, this. I think Monster Hunter World is a good example. It's just a mess of where everything is. Terrible mess, and it takes ages to. Well, in the end, I don't know where most things are. I just learn the controls for the fights. It's like I don't know what's going on here.
Monster Hunters notoriously. It's just so busy. There's so much though. It's very in depth. There's loads of items and there's tons of stuff to do. It's not easy. You need you need a wall just to be able to kind of tree map it out.
But that's kind of what Star Citizen's like. There's so many buttons, isn't there? And it's like, because we want to add this and we want to add that. And that's why your keyboard layouts are huge, because it's like, but we want to add this, but it's a lot of depth to it.
That's something that belongs to flight sims, space sims. You always have lots and lots of buttons. If Flight Sim is coming out, Microsoft Flight Sim.
Yes,
you'll have a look at it.
I saw that because we'll be probably throwing in a bit of E3 as we're kind of going along on this one. So one of the interesting talking about controls, the new Xbox controller, by the way, looks amazing, which we saw. I just was like, it's got like you can adjust the buttons with like a tell them how detailed on tensions and all sorts of stuff. You've got more buttons, and then there's also you have a programmable mode, 3 programmable modes, so you can program it for your different games. Now Asnog was in, and he basically I'm going to give Asnog the credit for this because he was the one that said this to me. But he's like, we're talking firstly about Scarlet. And how we both believe this, and I've said this before on this show here about I don't understand, like the fact that Star Citizen has taken so long that the console gaming is going to catch up to this game and be able to play this game. Okay, seriously, unless Star Citizen suddenly does something really revolutionary and really pushes the boundary again in the gaming world, which is possible, but I don't think they can because they have to keep building on this platform. I swear to God, this game could potentially be played on the new generations of consoles. And here we go, Scarlet has just been announced, and it sounds incredible. It runs on an SSD drive. It's got insane frames, insane power. It from what I'm reading about it, like that's just them. We've got Sony as well, who are going to be obviously announcing their one next year. Like expect them to try and blow Microsoft obviously out the water again as well. I thoroughly expect to be able to play Star Citizen on a console, and the controller. Sorry, just because it's just going to finish it. Let's give Kaznog the credit for this. Was the 3 buttons on the controller, the pre-settings. We said you could have 3 preset. You could have combat, so flying, land, And then I think it was like another one was like interfacing, and you could then maybe plug in your keyboard and stuff if you wanted to do like the itemization. But it was like literally we were looking at it going, how much easier would it be than the complications of like the joysticks and everything else is if you can use your controller and you just press the 3 buttons, so you can go from FPS mode to flight mode to, you know, just kind of casual mode in
like
your controller.
Or like combat to mining.
Yeah.
You know, like, now I'm mining, you can just press a button and it becomes a mining layout thing, sort of thing. Yeah.
I mean, and you could probably do it with the keyboard and mouse, sure, but I was like, because I'm again the consoles, and I'm just thinking like, you know, it's, yeah, I just was impressed. Anyway, I was just very impressed with Scarlet and the Xbox and the controller and stuff. Very, very cool. Give Asnog a shout out. Clever idea, dude. Sorry. Carry on, Miss. You were going to say something.
No. The only thing I was just going to touch on is the whole console thing, and when the game was first pitched, and this is what's different, you see, and this is why it's actually, I think you're right, and it is when the game was first pitched, we all thought the game was going to be coming out in something like 2016 or whenever it was or 14, even whenever the delays were. But like the game was originally pitched, and it's growing bigger and bigger, and actually, originally it would have been, this is only going to work on a console. But the reality is, the longer we wait for it, like you said, the more powerful the next gen consoles are going to come. And there's, like, at the end of the day, they can only make Star Citizen for what's out now. They can't make it for. So by the time the PlayStation and Xbox catch up and start using the graphics cards that we're getting in PCs now, and they're using the hardware that we've got now, there is going to. I mean, if you look at, say, Star Citizen's another 2 years away, there is a huge chance that the consoles are going to be able to play it. Because it's not going to advance in technology enough compared to these consoles are.
And I don't see the problem with it
on the PC.
I don't see the problem with it. I go, I look at it and go, that's a huge chunk of revenue for Star Citizen when they need money. It's a great opportunity to get more gamers to play the game. So long as they don't obviously make it so, as long as the priority is still the PC, like your exclusives and your priority is still the PC first and everything else, and then you release it onto console maybe a year later or whatever, you port it onto there. I don't see the problem with it. And like before, everyone was talked about it's just going to be a PC game, but that was then, like you said, that was then. We're now 2019,
But they didn't say it was just going to be a PC game because he didn't want it on console. It wasn't like I refuse consoles to have it. It was literally just consoles are not going to be powerful enough. That was the original pitch and what he was saying. He said that this game is going to be so top end that it's going to require the best machines to run it. Now, obviously, it's like any of these things. The longer it takes, it's no longer top end. The stuff that they've put in, like we said, we've already seen photorealistic levels and things like that. It's not doing that. It's not matching that top end. It may still just about be on there. I mean, don't get me wrong. PCs are probably still going to play it much better than even the modern consoles will. But it doesn't mean that the modern consoles won't be able to play it. And I think that's, like you said, the more money it makes for them. Like, I think if they can tap into it because these consoles are powerful enough. It wouldn't surprise me if they do.
Yeah, well, and I see, Grizz, you're talking about, like you were saying, again, it's a totally valid argument. Like people talk about, like, I'll have to buy a new hot ass or a console every 3 years or whatever, or to keep up maybe Star Citizen. Or I hear people talk about, like things to do with Star Citizen. I need to buy a better PC and graphics cards and all this stuff. And we talked about this actually a little bit before about the power of like why people spend all this money on graphics cards and stuff like that. And the way I kind of like, people will buy like a 2000, I'll buy a 2080 Ti, but the reality is you don't need a 2080 Ti to play Star Citizen at the moment. I'm running it comfortably on a 1070. No issues, really good. I'm enjoying it. Unless I'm obviously taking pictures in 8K on an insane monitor and stuff like that. But I mean, it's not improving my game experience anymore by doing that. And even then, I just don't see why, because people do that every year. You know what I mean? There's a new graphics card every year, and they'll ditch their graphics card and they'll buy a new one, and that's like 700 quid or whatever it is, 800 quid. They go,
people that are real enthusiasts, they'll buy the latest card, but the reality is card development is way beyond game development.
Yeah,
and so the advantage of it is normally it's just people feel that they're getting better, and they'll get slightly better numbers and things like that. Whether it actually visually makes a difference, whether it actually makes their game, because if you're playing your game before and you go, oh, my game's running really smooth, I've got great frames and everything else, and then another card comes out, it's not going to make your one all of a sudden stop running nice and smooth.
No,
but it's just in the mentality of people that love to upgrade that they want to feel that I've got the best thing. It's really pushing the things that's now doing 500 frames a second. It might be, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's any better than your 120 frames a second. And it's like we had this discussion with someone as well the other day, I can't remember who, but like about films and the fact we got like the IMAX cinema and things like that. Like the films aren't anywhere near as caught up as the technology that we've got to display them, because the films have to be recorded in the HD, they have to be processed in it and then spent on the actual screen that way. And most of the films aren't. It's too much. Everyone's got to replace all their equipment to even record that level of detail. And with like now our TV channels, we've barely got HD channels. We've got some, but they're not running 24/7, and yet we're getting 8K TV coming out. We can't even get HD TV channels, and it's like the technology is so much better than what the product that's coming out through the door. So it's like you can feel good with your 8K TV, but you're not getting any advantage on it. And that's kind of what I think, like you said, with the Star Citizen on a console, is it's going to be, by the time it comes out, the console will be able to run it.
And I hope Star Citizen ships it to consoles. Well, basically what I'm saying is I would like you to ship it to console, and I would be curious to see if Star Citizen and CIG are going to look into, because at the end of the day, Galaxy from CD Projekt Red, everybody is operating their own, Steam type of gaming platform. And I wonder what
you're not even running off the PCs.
yeah.
I was saying that's another thing I was saying to Asnok, because I had that other laptop that I streamed with, and it basically the graphics card went, so I can't play any games on it. And now using Nvidia's technology and this Moonlight, I think it's called, or something, it basically streams from my PC over the network, and you can play it on anything. You can play it on a tablet and everything else. And so now my laptop downstairs, which is just a brick that doesn't work, I'm now playing games on it, and with very minimal lag, because I'm using the streaming technology, and it's streaming it from my main gaming PC, and I'm sitting there playing it on that. So it's crazy. So I could be playing on a console. I could be playing on my TV. I don't need the PC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's exciting times.
To go further on that, the Google Stadia, it's I'm really interested and to see how that will succeed or not, because that's gonna be the next big thing. If they succeed, if they don't have any latency at all, that's gonna be huge.
Yeah,
it's gonna be huge.
It's coming. It's just who's gonna. I always look at it as it's a bit like when we had VHS and what was the other one, and like you had MIDI disc and then the MP3. There's these wars. Yeah, we have these wars. It's the war of like who can win. Who's going.
Well, it's a complete shift actually, going from having all your hardware yourself, like your PC, high-end PC, to just a normal PC or laptop, whatever, and a web browser, and click on it, and your game starts from a Google data center.
Yeah, it's and do you know what's funny about this is I remember like when I hear people like talk about it like it never work, or I don't, it's too complicated, nothing's going to work. I'm reminded of something called the internet and buying things online, and a certain company called Amazon, and how people said, it'll never catch on, there'll be too many returns, it's not going to work, people are going to steal things, or my data's not protected on the internet, or all sorts of stuff. I heard so many things. I myself was nervous about, I'm putting my credit card details on the internet, and then I buy something from somebody, and then I'm trusting that person's going to deliver it. I'm giving them my money in advance, and then I'm going to trust that they're going to deliver it to my door, and it's going to arrive. And what I could just go down the road and buy it in the shop? Are you crazy? Like, I don't trust this. You know what I mean? And I get that same feeling with this.
And now it's completely normal.
And now it's completely normal.
Yeah. But this is about technical hurdles, of course. But Google has their own data centers, has their own infrastructure, cables, all that shit.
Yeah.
Google is so big that if they gonna put this out, like, okay, we're gonna do this. Yeah, if they don't succeed, that's gonna be massive. But on the other hand, I'm comparing it to we are able, look at SpaceX, we are able to fly rockets, send them to space, and let them land back again on Earth. And that's all on high distance and with a latency or without latency. I don't know, but why shouldn't Google succeed with this? So I've got high hopes. I hope they will manage it, and yeah, let's see
I think it's a question of it's about the consumer at the end of the day, right? All success comes down to the consumer, and is it the right timing, affordability, does it offer the need? Like sometimes this could be the stepping stone, like mini disc was to MP3. We might think this is the right thing. This seems to be the best move on from CDs. This just makes logical sense. But then all of a sudden, out of left field, somebody comes in with something else, and we just go, "Oh my god!" That's like someone comes in and says, "Guess what? I've just cracked neuro interfacing." And we can now plug our brains directly straight into freaking technology. It'd be like, it would like open up the world of in a totally different direction. You know what I mean? Like that kind of, or AI. Suddenly, someone cracks AI, and then something totally changes again. It's like
I want to plug my brain into a women's brain. See what they're thinking.
Trust me, you don't. You really don't. Bad enough living with one, let alone being plugged into one. No thanks.
If you go on Adam and Eve, you can be plugged into a different type of woman, though.
And you probably already know what.
That's a free advertisement for you, Astropub. No worries, buddy. Free one for Astro. So yeah, I mean, that's what I love about E3 and I love about all this stuff is, and it gets you thinking about things, gets us thinking about future stuff for Star Citizen, and kind of like theory crafting on maybe a little bit of a bigger picture outside of the game as well, and where the game could go besides just what we play and what we're doing. It's kind of, I'm always fascinated to see what CIG's big plans are for their platform, because ultimately they're going to be a big studio, and if they keep with the staff they have, they're going to need to make more games around the Star Citizen world as well as and expand on it. So let's get Squadron 42 finished, obviously, but I'm going to be curious over the next to see what they do, because they keep hiring and they ain't firing. So, and their bills keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, we Starberg and I, we were in the German office 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and that's almost completely full.
Wow,
it's not going to be that long that they will need a new office.
Keep expanding.
Yeah.
I would love to have a real breakdown of what the staff do. Do you know what I mean? Like in terms of like what the actual, like, what they, you have like Chris, you have Sandy doing this, we have, Tony, we have the, we see some of them obviously from ATVs, and you could probably do a bit of it, but then it's like how many staff are working in each department, like what are the, because if you watch a movie, for example, visual effects studios, you'll have lead designer and then whatever, and you have the names, and then it'll show you, designer, huge block of people, and then it'll be broken down. I'd be curious to know what the breakout is at Star Citizen in terms of, because we only ever see like there's David and another guy who doing the flight model, and then previously there was only one guy before that who did the flight model.
There's some ball broke and he's done, get in there and work on it, damn it.
And then there's like, seem to be a bit more people on that spot. Maybe they're camera shy, I don't know.
I don't have to come on camera.
No, he's just on about, it'd be nice to see a breakdown of, we've got 20 people working on environment, we've got 50 people working on ships, we've got 5 people working on AI, and 1 person working on concept.
Anyway, we know, but we can't say.
On flight model.
Say it.
But no.
Tell us, because we've seen Chris walk around the office, and there's that wonderful meme with him walking around the office. What do you guys do again? Oh, you do ships. Okay, you're fired. Is that a really funny, very, very, very funny meme video, which I thought was great. But I would like to know more, just so that I could kind of understand like when they talk about the hirings, you get that picture, you know what I mean? You can look at the whole team and go, because with AI, they're obviously hiring for AI. So you find out they've only got like 3 people working on AI. And so, because we give them a hard time, you know what I mean? I give them a hard time, but then when I find out, when I learn and we know, it's like there's one guy doing the flight model, you know what I mean? Or there's one guy
left, and you were doing every pair of shoes in the design thing. It's like, why is that Madness not producing enough shoes? Why is he fucking? Why is that company not?
I'm doing my best. I'm working like from morning till night. You know what I mean? Like it's exactly that. It's like I would give. Yeah, I would like to know, so I don't kind of rip anyone when I don't think maybe they can still be told off, but you can kind of take it down a notch, man. take off an edge, just so that it's not, you know,
a break.
Exactly. Like, oh my god, he's at me again. Like Tony's like, that Madness, he's always going at me. I've only got me and my whiteboards. What is he doing? So anyway, I would like to know that. So 3.5. Anything else? Like anyone else? 3.5.1. Has anyone else got anything?
I've been away kind of since it's all come out.
So yeah, guys. Yeah. So I'm gonna play more this week, I think, before I go away to Bali again on Friday. It's a hard life. And then I'm waiting for 3.6, which I'm interested to see we saw the Vanguard rework, which I don't have a Vanguard myself, but I think a lot of people from what I saw were happy. Overall, it seemed to be everyone was pretty happy with the reworked Vanguards. I didn't see anyone really hating on it. It looked like it's mostly internal rework and a bit of external.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's another rework though in 3.6, I believe, and that's the new HUD interface that will only be available with one ship, which I don't have. I think it was Gladius.
Oh, really?
They're gonna test it out. It was in the news.
I think I might have missed it, but yeah, that's the it's always the Gladius, because the Gladius is always their
that's
the meta ship,
that's the one
the
first squadron,
the old man ship. Yeah, but that
build everything around
almost makes me buying a Gladius because I want my new HUD, please. For the love of God.
You can rent it though, right? In theory, in 3.6, you'll be able to rent the Gladius.
Yeah, but that's for pussies. I'll just buy one.
Take my money.
Yeah, take my money here. Take it all.
And then there's the only other thing with that patch was the customization, but I don't know if you wanted to talk about that.
Yes.
Thing anyway. But...
Yes, we can definitely talk about the
I mean, that's probably, to me, that's from being away and looking back, that seems to be the main change and thing that people have been playing with at the moment is the non-free fly people. Yeah. But yeah. So
actually, there's a few things. Firstly, actually, let's do the Origin advert. Let's watch that, shall we? Have you seen that?
The Origin advert was really good.
So let's watch that. Which was quite cool. Showed us a lot of ships.
Come fly away. I'll take you on. Oh, when you just started,
Head over you. And I will follow you through the magic
Just a small kraken.
Heave
him.
We'll forget about the world. Just you
Nice. It actually harked back to the old original Origin a little bit.
What's Nicola Orange.
Fully customization, but it's really orange.
Orangification.
Help.
You don't have to props by the back door of it as well.
I thought this was really interesting. Like I say, because like with the first one, you had the guys walking out in the spacesuit on his own, and then walking back on his own, and then now they obviously have the two, the male and the female now have it, in game and stuff, and then they brought the two out, walking in and out together, romancing slightly. Oh, you had a great time, love. Oh yeah, it was superb. I loved it. It was the best thing ever.
I approve the bed.
I want to know where she was hiding because of the two-person ship. They both got out.
She was in the bed at the back.
She wasn't in the bed. They showed the bed.
Oh, she wasn't in the bed. No, they didn't show it. Oh,
maybe she was in the toilet.
Maybe she was she was at the sink. You know, because somebody's got a sink or something. No.
Is that a really unpolitically correct, terrible thing to say with the teapot, making him a cup of tea?
I'm not going there.
Terrible.
I'm not going there.
Maybe he was making her the cup of tea, and she was the one flying, eh? She was the one flying.
Let's face it, that is actually the reality. We want to be sexist. It's like, you're the one making the tea. She's the one flying.
This is true. This is very true. But a great video, a great advert. Always nice to have an advert. I do like the adverts. I'm glad that they keep doing them. I know it's a bit of some people say it's a waste of resources. I'm like, no, they're fun, and I kind of liked it. So, and a lot of people commented on all the ships that were in there in the background. They're all getting excited about it, and I'm like, don't get that excited, guys. It's just like you could do that if you probably wanted to by getting the hollow video and just stick it in the background of one of your own videos. Don't get too excited.
Even the ones they've used in the demos we've seen, the official demos, they're shells basically. So.
Sorry, I don't want to ruin it. But
oh my god, my Kraken is ready. It's flying. The ship's on it. It's definitely ready. I saw it.
There's a reason why it's blurred and in the background. It's not in the money shot. Let's put it that way.
But sorry, Bok, you said which one did you buy?
The 315, the exploration one.
Is that the one with the tractor beam?
I don't know. It's orange.
I don't know. It's orange.
I got the exploration and that's it. And it's orange and I don't know what's on it.
Okay.
I selected a nice bed sheeting with a clock, digital clock.
Okay, so yeah.
Probably never gonna fly it. I don't care, but I've got an orange ship in my hand.
No. Absolutely, you're completely justified in making the wrong decision. It's absolutely fine.
Why?
It's absolutely fine. No, you are. I'll tell you why. It's tractor beam on the front is fixed, as in like glued on with super glue. That shit will not come off. It is. You cannot change the tractor beam on the front, which is on the other versions that's a size 4. I think it is size 4 mount. Or size 5 mount.
I didn't even know that it had a traction beam.
Size 5 or size 4?
You made him happier now.
I got an orange traction beam.
That's terrible. Okay. So.
Just gonna go and go. Bloody rag. I'm caught you with a tractor.
It don't work. It don't work. So you got a thing on the front you can't even use and isn't working, and you can't even remove it to make it. If you did, try and it's got I think I read somewhere like its power. Hang on, I think I've even got the link. Something to do with its power supply or something is worse than the 300. It's got like a worse something than a 300. It's so it's got a fixed thing. Something's not very good on it.
It was a bargain.
No. Well, that's yeah. I mean, I'm just look. It's orange and you're happy, and I'm glad you're happy, but I'm just, for anyone else out there that suddenly rushes out to go buy a 300 series, I'm just warning you, the 315 isn't, in my opinion, it was on Twitter, someone was tweeting out, like, in terms of, like, are there certain ships and sausages that are potentially, like, ghost ships or dying ships, where, they as the game has gone on and on and on and on, and they brought out more and more ships.
Never lived.
Yeah, maybe they never lived. They're bringing out ships that are replacing some of the functions, some of the bits on other ships. And so for me, the 315 I felt was a variation, just for a variation's sake. I mean, the reality is you just needed a 300i, and you could have just made it so that the tractor beam on the front could be attached to the front. You know what I mean? And taken off, and then you've got a 315.
Well, what's the difference in the look of it between the 300i and the 315?
And you tell me. So, once you did the paintwork, you paint it in orange.
Is there any difference between any of them?
There might be there might be something on the 325, maybe, but I don't think so. I don't think so.
They're all just different gun loadouts and equipment loadouts, basically.
You can slap. Yeah, feel free to. I mean, you can kill
That's
me.
Citizen Con, Jester. That's
Yeah,
Citizen
you can
Con.
kill me. You can kill me as much as you like.
No, dude, like
People have said this shit to me like loads of times. Like when I've bought something and then they've gone in and they've just torn my purchase apart, and I've gone,
I don't care.
oh shit.
no, I know you don't.
I didn't
care.
even know it had a traction beam.
Oh.
I got
you're
it for
happy?
exploration, but I've not even flown it yet. I
So, okay.
only saw
that's
it in
my
my
next
hangar. That's it.
Why? Okay. Again, I love this because this is a question. So you bought it for exploration. I know you got it for the orange. Let's be honest. At the end of all of this, you got it because it's
They're all
orange.
pretty orange, though. You don't have to have that one to make it orange. You could have any of them.
But you bought and it's one of the 315 is probably one of the cheaper ones, right? It's cheaper than the 300i. Is that correct? So that's another obviously.
No, it was like 71 euros.
Yeah. Whereas the
And then
300.
I had like a euro for the orange and the clock and. Yeah.
And
Well,
people
some
think
guys go on
Star Citizen's
expensive
gonna run out of
holidays.
money. Who thinks Star Citizen going to run out of money when you got people like
Not me.
It's never going to run out
I love you,
of money.
Buck.
Love you, buddy. Thank you.
But genuinely, like it's just the 315 for me. When I read into it and looked into it, it's like
the 300i is probably a better purchase, and then the 325 is decent. It's probably more because it was obviously the weapon loadouts and stuff's pretty good. And like I said, if the reality is, if you want a tractor beam, like the Cutlass is supposed to have a tractor beam on it, so the Cutlass can do exploration, cargo, run people, and
I
tractor
also
beam.
have a Cutlass.
Yeah, so you probably.
Well, I got 2 tractor beams now.
And
Getting better.
but then Star Citizen releases the Argo SRV tractor beam tugging version little ship. They just released that the other day as well. So it's like, again, this is a conversation that we were having in Twitter, which is like, are there other ships in game which are being surpassed by other ships? Is there ships that are going to fall through the cracks in terms of like there is no actual reason to have this ship anymore? Obviously, people will, other than purely because you've got one, but there's there are other ships that are just going to fall through.
You mean in terms? I think what you're saying is like in terms of like normally, say for example, the Prospector is a dedicated mining ship. Now, if something else come along and it can also mine of the same size, but it can also then go and fuel scoop and explore, so it's got more use. Why would you use the Prospector unless? Like the only reason you're going to use these single-use ships is if they have a higher output, a higher yield for what the thing is that they do, and if they don't change that, they will be dead. There'll be just literally no point having it.
Yeah, and it's like
if a Prospector mined less than say another ship of the same value, but that had multiple roles and it could mine better, why would you have the mining ship?
Yeah,
I suppose that's it. That's the thing.
And if
when they're changing stuff.
Like if you had like, for example, you owned like a 600i exploration or whatever, or the touring version or an exploration ship, like what, and you had like a Cutlass and you had an Argo SRV, like you wouldn't, like why would you ever need a 315p? You would never need it. You got tractor beams that are coming out your ass in other things. You got the glorious exploration ship out there, or if you like,
well, you might not, but it's small, so that would count as a starter. That's why that's slightly different. It's maybe a smaller ship. So if you start off small without all the broad stuff, then that would make it relevant. But if you look at it more the way I'm saying, if you have another ship that does it all for the same price, does more, because I mean that's what was I felt a bit like between the Freelancer and the Cutlass. The Cutlass had more versatility than the Freelancer, and so now you're making the Freelancer pretty pointless compared to the Cutlass because of all the stuff it's got. That's the sort of, you got to look at it like sideways, so it's got to be stuff that's equal. So if it's something the same size and cost and it outperforms the other one massively, then that's when the other one then becomes a ghost ship, because it's like, what's the point?
So what small ships are exploration ships then?
So like say they probably like the Reliant Core. I mean, it doesn't handle very well. It's 2-seater, but it's like, is there any point to it if you can have something that could do it better? Apart from the look. I'm just trying to think, because it's more like the ones, I think the smaller ships are, Are they still? I think they're all still separated into individual things. Like the Aurora's been broken up into individual things. The Avengers still more individual things. So while they're still individual, it's fine. I think it's when you start and get into the freelancer size, you're starting to get stuff that's like being muddled because it can do more than one trick. It's not a one-trick ship. And that's when you start getting into the murky water of, well, actually, we've given you this ship, but all it can do is carry cargo, like, say, the hull, for example. Whereas if you then had another ship that could carry almost the same amount of cargo, but could also do exploration or something, then you'd be like, well, why do I need the hull for? It's got to massively excel in the one thing it's doing.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's So I'm just thinking, I'm going to come back next time and I'll have a think about the 315p, and then I'll think to myself, I'll look sideways at it. I mean, the fact that you have a bigger ships that can do the jobs kind of defeats it slightly to me, but I'm curious, like sideways, if you're thinking about in terms of 315, if it's got anything that's a competition for it. That would be interesting, actually.
Wouldn't the Avenger be the similar?
The Avenger Titan
similar size and
Titan.
Price bracket. So
well, no tractor beam though, but similar type of ship exploration.
Well, none yet. But when the customization comes in, if they give it as one of the things, then that would be different.
Beams.
True. No, it would be interesting. That's true, because like you got to think. I suppose you got to think like in terms of stepping stone ships. If you're a new player, you get this ship, you step to this ship. What's the best ship to step to the next stage, and then go from that one to more of a multi-crew ship maybe, and then from that onwards. So yeah, okay, fair enough.
You can't look at it as us backers that have got big ships and everything. You've got to look at it as a beginner and how they step up to the next level. I mean, if it's got like it's got to be different. It's got to be, like I said, it's no point just having the Avengers got I know they haven't, but the Avengers got an Explorer and the 300's got an Explorer. Then it's your choice is design, just what one you prefer the look of. It's got to have lots more stuff than the other one to make the other one pointless. Because it's like as much as as much as I love the freelancer design, there's literally no point me buying it if this other ship does it 10 times better.
Yeah.
And that's where you're looking at whether there's dead ships or not. It's whether, no matter how much you love it, I suppose you probably could get that more along the lines of the fighters is probably where the best place to look for that sort of dead ship. Because it's like, why on earth would you have this ship that's got smaller guns, less maneuverability, over another ship that's the same price with more guns, more armor, and more maneuverability? So that's probably the combat stuff may well where you'd find more of a dead ship, I think.
That was where the Arrow and the Gladius were fighting each other in one patch, I think it was, because the Gladius wings fell off. And the Arrow was exactly the same in maneuvering, weapons, loadout, everything, but the wings didn't fall off. So you could stay in a fight longer. So you had just as good maneuvering, and your ship stayed in a fight longer. So it's like, well, why would I have a Gladius? You know what I mean? Other than personal preference, it was like, I'll keep the Arrow. That's the... Yeah, you're right. Okay, cool.
Excellent. Long way around of Madness is thinking hour. Thinking moment. So maybe the 315p could be... I could be wrong. And I'm happy to be wrong.
I still think it's definitely... There's a reason for it, the cheaper version. And I don't like the fact that the tractor beam is fixed to the front. But I understand it a bit more now. So that's cool. Let's go to... As we're talking about the 300 series, let's go to the customizing. Let's talk about it. Shall we? You guys up for it?
Go for it. This is the one.
This is the big one. This is the one that everybody's been talking about this one forever. I've kind of talked about this like in 3 segments. I kind of like, in terms of, I kind of come to a place where I think, talked with Asnog and a few other people, and we kind of fought this one, and it's like, I can understand people's outrage on some of the financial, is this going to be a slippery road and all the rest of it, but we kind of come to a reality check, which is the reality is very clearly, firstly, I'm just going to say, Star Citizen already has broken every kind of thing. They sell spaceships. You know what I mean? They sell spaceships for thousands of dollars. So selling $5 for an upgrade, which by the way, I think is insanely nice of them. £1, $1. $1. Who could imagine a coffee pot costs $1? Amazing. Like I was like,
it's a pixel.
yeah, I know. Right? It's like $1 for someone's had to model that pixel. Someone's hours. Could you imagine? That's $1. No, I just looked at it and I was just like, my first reaction was like I tweeted it out. I wasn't happy with the fact that they are in a tier 1 tier. Like, here's my bad things. Tier 0 situation on the webpage, asking for money. In my opinion, bad. It should be finished. It should work really well, and they should be informing you as a customer what you're buying. So if I'm buying this bit of armor and this bit of gear, I should be given a value that's based on current situations, and that value should be updated accurately, just like the ship matrix, as they change it. It should be 100%. They can't, in my opinion, the fact that they still don't have an accurate ship matrix, the fact that they still refuse to put up the information on the current stats and components and things that they have now, in my opinion, is bad. I think they should be, especially if people are parting with money. Personally, I would have had those grayed out until they had them working, and I would just be selling the customization. So just purely the cosmetics. So the coloring and all that sort of stuff. That's how I would have done it personally until they get it fixed. And I still find it strange that the webpage one works and they still haven't implemented it in the game. So those are my kind of like my bad points. But the good parts were customization is in, and that's freaking cool. Like, great. That's awesome. There's no question about it. Being able to color your ships, like, Box gone crazy. He's went and spent, on a 315p in orange. That's a good thing, right? And bought a coffee maker. He's happy.
I didn't buy a coffee maker. I bought the clock.
Oh, sorry, the clock. Sorry, the clock. He's going to get the coffee maker next time.
Yeah, change the time on the clock.
He didn't have enough money. He didn't have that extra dollar. Pushed him over. Would have pushed him over the edge.
To pay extra to change the clock time.
That's enough. That's enough spent.
He's like, what do you mean there was a clock I could have bought? Damn it!
No, but look at games like League of Legends. The skins those kids buy, it works. The game is free. It runs on selling skins and shit.
Those games are out.
Out, and the game is free. Our game is not free, and
our game is not effectively finished yet.
And our game still needs to be funded. Yeah,
it does, and they need money. We just spoke about that.
It is.
Their bill, their monthly bills, and everything else is getting, like I said, getting bigger and bigger. So they do need to do this. If you want to have a game, if we want this to succeed, they do need to keep making money. This is a system that they have to implement. I'm uncomfortable, like I said, with them selling weapons and parts in the game without them informing people accurately with what they are actually buying. You don't need to know the metas. I've always said this before, and I said this on my stream. You do not need to know the metas. You just need to know that what you're buying is, why it's better than the basic one that you got with the original ship. And what this one, you need to know why it's costing you an extra $1 and it's giving you this, the little graph, this is a little bit better here, a little bit worse here. This is a bit better here.
They sell the packs for each one, and it's like, as when I looked at it, it didn't really, I couldn't, unless I missed it, but it didn't seem to shout out to me, this is what it's changing. It was just like, oh, you can have it with this bundle, this one. It showed you a little picture of all the different things, but not, this is going to give you more performance, this is going to give you more firepower or anything like that. It was just different options.
There's nowhere on the webpage, Miz, that tells you that. The ship matrix should do, but there's still no link to anything. There's no link button to say, find out the information about these things. There's nothing.
Ship matrix is wrong anyway. So
yeah, well, exactly.
It don't matter. So
yeah, that's right. It's just there's nothing fan running stuff. It's just fan done stuff, and that's not good enough. The fact that they're relying, or people are relying on fan done stuff to inform them on what's good and what's bad, isn't good enough for people who don't know. And again, we go down that road where people are buying things and then will maybe get frustrated that they've spent money on things that maybe aren't what they hoped they would be, or they're like, oh, I didn't buy the right one, or like, I should have bought this package, or I should have done this, or and I know you can melt it, but it's just, it shouldn't be that.
This is kind of the problem. This is why it's always selling anything other than the ships. I think is always problematic. And it always has been, even before this customization, because when they could sell guns and everything else, it's like the balancing hasn't happened. So when you're buying a ship, you know that you're buying the freelancer max because you want to transport cargo. And as long as at the end of the day it transports cargo, it's doing what it says on the tin. But once you start selling a component, once you start selling a gun, it's like, oh, this gun kills 6 people in 5 seconds. All right, okay, that's cool. That's what I want to buy. Then 2 weeks later, oh no, we've rejigged that. This gun no longer fires lasers. It's actually a ballistic gun. Oh, that's not what I paid for it. But it's testing. We can change it all we want. It's like charging for those things that are still in progress and still being manipulated is bad. It shouldn't be doing that. And I think that's one of the big issues. Is like people are buying. A, people shouldn't buy it. People should just wait. and B, it's like I'm not sure they should even be selling it until, like you said, until it's more final. Like it's one thing tweaking the DPS slightly on it or something, but if you're completely changing how well it is, how it performs, 1 minute this gun that you buy may not overheat, the next minute when they do a balancing thinking, oh no, this should heat up more, and then you barely could use it on the ship you've now put it on, it's wasted money. So I think it's difficult. I mean, the cosmetics has certainly brought up a lot of conversations, and I agree with you. There's different sections to look at it. It's like, look at it as in the customization part, fantastic. Monetization side of it is, like I said, they've got to make money. I'm not, whether you agree or disagree with them selling components, I think the Astropub said it on a tweet, and we've talked about it before, is that they're selling they're selling credit. They're selling credits for in-game credits. So realistically, they've been selling you these components since day one, or since you could buy credit. Yeah. It's just all you're doing is you're cutting out the middleman. So there's no point sitting there going, "Oh my god, you'll buy pay to win because you're buying the components." It may be, but it's been pay to win long time ago when you could buy it. So, I mean, I personally have never agreed with even being able to buy cash. So for me, I don't agree with buying the components either. But if you're going to have one, it makes no difference whether you got the other. Because there's nothing. If I've just got to spend all my money and go and buy credits, then go in the game and buy the components, what's the difference? And I think that's when Lando did the talk about the component thing. I think that's kind of what he says. It's like you're basically buying the ship with the components that you want in the first place on there, which is what you're going to do if you're like us lot that's back in the game early and you're going to put some money into it. You're going to go and buy some credits and then go and spend those credits. So I get that, and I think people have been going crazy over that sort of side of it, saying it's paid to win, when they don't seem to have understand that that's actually been in the game for a long time now.
The whole pay to win thing always still kind of like confuses me a little bit. I mean, there is winning in the game, effectively, which is crushing your opponent in a fight. You know what I mean? That's kind of like, that's when you win, is when you win a fight. And if you win a fight because you were able to, at the beginning of the game, have better gear, or at a certain point you're able to have gear that other people can't have because it takes them ages to grind for it, and you're able to buy it for, because you're rich and you could buy it for $50 or $100, and most players, can't afford it, or, the grind is insane in the game to get them, then we have a situation where it's dangerous. But if CIG makes it so that everything in the game, we're going to have a tiering system, which they've already spoke about. We know that there'll be better grades and stuff, and if CIG stops people, which I worry about, but if they can, they stop people from being able to buy higher graded gear, and higher tiered gear, should we say, rather than grade, because they've already shown that you can get better grades, but higher tier gear to a certain point, you can't ever buy a certain grade, then, for a long time anyway, then I'm kind of okay with it still, because he's still not stepping into that territory. But it's just I will look at it that they are skating on such thin ice is the best way I would describe it. It's like they are dancing like Indiana Jones on one of those stones where the guy pushes it and it's like a freaking thing comes across. They just one wrong step and they are literally gonna have an arrow, like across them, and especially with the loot box things going on, and everyone's all over EA, and Star Citizen's already had enough bad press and stuff. It's like they just keep their noses clean enough for people to be able to jump in front and say justifiably it's still not pay to win, but I can see oh my god, they are so close sometimes. It's insane. You know what I mean? It's like it's so close sometimes.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, they just it's genius. It's like, but one wrong move and the house of cards will come crumbling down. You know.
I mean, for me, I feel like the problem is with the whole pay to win title, if you like, is there's only one statement. It's pay to win. That's all we all know. And so it fills a really broad spectrum. And like people have been arguing for a long time. Does it's not pay to win. It's pay for an advantage. But like, it doesn't matter how you dress it up. An advantage means winning. It's just whether you're winning and it's just you're just playing about with words. That's what you're really doing. But the tech, if you take it down to its bare bones, you've got an advantage over somebody else. And then that is
you only you do, but you don't if it's in game.
Skill, and you still
if you can get it all in
you
game.
Still do, but you still do to a degree. Like
that's the hardest part.
I do agree that if you can get it all in the game, then it's fine. But it still doesn't stop the fact that you're paying for it, because that's what people say, is paying for an advancement. So, like in Elder Scrolls or something, you can level up at a normal speed in game, or you can pay real money and get a potion that levels you up twice as fast. Now you're not. The argument is because of the winning. It's like, well, you're not winning. You're just getting further afield than this person, which is true. And it's like, but it's not a race. It doesn't matter who gets to the end first. There's no race there. So
you'll cross that line eventually.
So technically, you're not winning. But you are, it's just words. You're still getting that advantage over the other person, and it depends whether it bothers you or not. But in this game, it's a little bit more serious because of the PvP aspect. So if you both get an Aurora out of the day one, but someone's paid for the best gear they can put on it, and the other one comes out, that person is going to have an advantage in combat, in cargo running, in its power consumption, in the fact that it can sell stuff better. Now, implications can be massively varied in that. It could be that they end up taking more cargo to the destination that you're going to quicker, and therefore they sell it before you get there, and then they make bigger profit than you, therefore they've won that journey. It could be if you then get head-to-head to clash in the combat, okay, you're still pilot skill, I know that, I get that, but at the end of the day, if yours is more of a tank, and they're on this piece of paper fighting you, not only have they got to hit you, they've got to hit you a ton tons more because you're in better equipment. So it's
again, that's very solo playing though as well, isn't it? You know, the game is like multiplayer, so you have to throw into the equation that, you know, you could be, you know, you might be helped by people with you who, I mean, this is what I mean, like, this is the level of complexity around this scenario. And I know if you strip it down to what you're saying, it makes sense, but then, you know, there's so much more complexity in terms of playing in a guild.
There's other people, but then what if you've got 5 people and they've got 5 people, but your 5 people have all invested and bought extra.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's another level again. That's what I'm saying. It's exponential.
Because then that's why you have to strip it to the bare bones, and the bare bones is you are paying
to advance
to be better.
What do you think about the new players? What do they think about us then? Us backers. We all have these ships.
Yeah.
If you're new, if you're brand new, well, I look at it in 2 ways. Is one, it kind of in a way, like, when you're born into the world, like we're born into the world now, like we're not born into like Adam and Eve, like starting point, you know, we're born,
we're not all in the same,
so everyone in this world currently is in different starting blocks, you know what I mean? And in a strange way, that makes the game more real if the game is a bit like that. I know it sounds strange, but like if you kind of like get out of Port Olisar and there are people lifting off their 600 eyes and people lifting off their javelins and people taking off in their 300s and their whatever else, it will feel a bit more cooler, you know what I mean, than if everyone's suddenly taking off in an Aurora, you know? I mean, it might be quite cool like that. I mean, that could be quite cool. That might be up to everyone to be like, oh, look, everyone's... I mean, I'm sure there'll be more Auroras than those other ships, but then for those people who are new, it'd be kind of cool. Like, it still is. Like, if you're new to the game, like, how cool was it? When you first ever bought the game, I had my Mustang, and I had my Mustang, and I love my Mustang. Awesome. Loved it. My first ship. It's very special to me. But then I always remember looking at the pad and looking around, and then somebody was sat there with their Starfarer, or someone was with their Connie, you know, and they had just started to take off, and I was like, oh, that made me want that. You know what I mean? And like, you know, without monetary, if the game was alive, you would go, I'm going to earn that in game. You know, it gives you the drive to kind of, you know, figure it out. So you can do that through NPCs, I know, but there's something special about knowing that it's a person's ship as well that kind of adds to that special kind of romantic thing. So I hear what you're saying.
I definitely completely agree with many things. I think there's nothing wrong in what you're saying at all. I think you're absolutely spot on. It's definitely pay to skip. I don't like pay to skip. I've never liked it. But the problem is this is a crowdfunded game. They need money. And they've already well and truly opened Pandora's box when they were really selling ships and giving it to people. So complaining about a little bit around the edges is like,
I'm not necessarily saying the pay to win is a bad thing. I suppose I'm not a massive fan of it. I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing. In fact, what you're saying there is I do actually agree. I think people being separated is actually probably a benefit for the game. It's actually better that some of these people, because if everybody all started exactly the same place, that's when you're going to get all these fights and crashing and trolling. Whereas actually a lot of people will go and they'll start straight away in their bigger ship and fly off, and they'll be in a much different part of the universe that you're in, or the starter people are in, and like you said, it's definitely more realistic. It's not. So this is why although it's pay to win if you look at it bare bones, but it's not necessarily affecting the game in that respect, because it's like if you go to your pit and you go and mine your section, and they bugger off and go and mine their section, they're not harming each other. So he's definitely paid and skipped, and you're doing your bit, but you're not harming each other either. What I'm saying is, if you just look at the mechanics, it's pay to win, but it's not. That's why the wording's wrong, because we don't really have any other wording. But it's definitely pay for that advantage, if you like. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to harm the game because of that, because there's going to be plenty of people starting off, and there's a lot of people that have bought all these big ships, and they've already still said that they're still going to play in the beginner ships. They're still going to play in the starter stuff, and they want to work their way up to it still. How long that will last?
For about 3 days.
And then they'll be like, I'm not making enough money. And like when they see their mate who's completely ignored what they said they were going to do and has gone, done a huge ferry in their whole sea and just made 5 million, and they've got a whole sea set in the thing, they'll be like, yeah, maybe I want to take advantage of the fact that there's not many people out at the moment ready to blow up my ship. I can make as much money as I can quickly now, make money before everyone starts killing me. I can guarantee it right now. I'm telling you right now, on day one, I will be flying the best ships, the best gear that I have, trying to make the most amount of money. I have no interest whatsoever. I have spent a lot of money and time so that I have an advantage. Okay, that's all I want. I am not one of those people. I am 100% making sure I'm using it to the nth degree, every single bit of knowledge and thing, because people will catch me up.
Basically starting as level 10, you're not going to I'm not being a bloody newbie.
I am not. I am running. I am like you can try and catch me. I'm going to try and stay ahead of you as long as I possibly can. I have no interest. You let those other people who want to do that, they can do that, but I am running as fast as I can.
I'm planning to do it on my second account, just for fun, and main account will be just what's available to me.
Which ones haven't blown up that day? No, I'm hoping to have a ship that is my main ship that I just love, and I haven't found it yet, but there's one, when I find the one that I just think, this is the ship I really love, it's kind of doing what I want, I'll probably be flying that, whether I can have a more expensive ship or a cheaper ship. I mean, in terms of like money invested at the moment and ships invested, I honestly think you're better off scrapping most of your stuff and buying the most expensive ship that you want and can with your cash, because that's what's going to be the hardest thing to get in game. Like these little people buying all these little bikes and these little cars, they're going to be dirt cheap. You'll only have to do one cargo run or something in a big ship, and then you can probably buy those bikes or buy those cars. Yeah. So it's, spending all your hard money on little things is kind of pointless. I think you're better off investing in a big thing that you want.
I think so I think a lot of people kind of spread their money and around a little bit, in terms of, I think I've seen a lot of people fleets, all these tweets, you see them out when people are, showing off their, how big their wallet or how much money they spent, and they don't want to attach their wives to these tweets, by the way, most of them I noticed, which is quite funny. It's kind of like they show these ships, and a lot of them are quite a mixture. What I always find interesting is the ones who bought all the similar they bought a Freelancer, a Star Runner, a Cutlass, a variation of another Freelancer, and I kind of look at it and I go, why have you bought all of the same, like in the same kind of gameplay area?
What are you going to pick? Yeah, it's like, I mean that's what mine personally is going to be like the best fighter that suits me. Yeah. And I want a cargo-y ship that will suit me. And they'll be like the two that I have. So if I want to do combat, I'll take the fighter. And if I want to do the cargo running, I'll have the other one. But yeah, like having 3 cutlasses, one with different layouts or something, is like,
Yeah.
why would
And
you do that?
I say that as a complete hypocrite, as somebody who has most like every single Ceeta fighter of every type, because at the moment the reason why I'm doing that is because the meta shifts all the time, and I really have to know. So like I've got a
Doesn't mean you don't know what your ship is yet.
No, so I got an arrow, and I've got, I did have a gladius. I don't have a gladius anymore, but I'll get one again. So I've got an arrow, and I'll get a gladius again, and then it's like, and I've got a Banu defender on the way, and then I've got a, a Starfarer CCU for a Star Heart if I want to, and I've got a 325, and I've got a, whatever else. I need to get a Santa Koi at some point as well. And then because the reality is I need to figure out which one, and I'm guessing it's the same for them. It's like they haven't quite figured out which one of those that's the middle range ships that they love, but they're not quite sure which one's going to be the one they're going to run all the time. Like I have a Cutlass and a Freelancer, the Freelancer Max, and for me, I love the Cutlass more as a combat ship, but the Freelancer Max I know is going to make me the money. You know what I mean? It's like
it's got more cargo.
Yeah, it's going to make me the cargo money. So I'm kind of like the Cutlass. As much as I love the Cutlass, and I think it's a very good multi. It's going to contract to beam and all the rest of it. But I just think there's going to be a lot of them in there, and I think I can earn it in game. So part of me is like I'm thinking to myself, the Cutlass will become a ship I maybe get in game, and then I'll get something else higher up. And then it's like you said, what are the big ships to go for? Carracks, Banu Merchantmans, Idrises. But like I'm looking at it going, okay, Idris, is it going to make me money, or is that just an orc ship? Okay, let's go back down again. The Banu,
it's probably too big.
The hull, the whole series for big cargo running. The Orion mining ships. Or where maybe there'll be another one in between there, which will be another one. It's like, what are the money making ships in there? I just don't see an Idris making me lots of money. I just see it being a lot of fun in combat. So it's like, Banu Merchantman, I go, that seems to make sense. That seems to be like a money-making, it's a merchant ship. It's designed to make money. So it's like, what other ships are there? Anyone in chat know any other ones? Like, what do you guys, which ones would you think are going to make you money in the big ships that would be a good one to have in your arsenal of ships?
I mean, if you're going for just pure money, it's probably going to be in one of the hulls, isn't it? With just doing a massive cargo run, it's probably going to be one of your easier early on profit making, I would have thought, because if you can fill one of those up, it's probably going to pay more than a bounty run or something like that.
The Hercules, the Banu Merchantman, says Angel. Which one? There's so many ships these days. It's hard for me to remember them all. It's like I'm trying to remember what ships are there. The Star.
Oh, you remember more than mine.
Data, for example. Data could be worth an absolute fortune. You just don't know. It could be a very small amount of cargo, but it could be worth a huge amount of money. Like in EVE Online, for example, you can find, you could find these really small pieces of cargo that were worth vast amounts more than, I used to do it on EVE. You do it's a huge risk. You get spider kills and people, waiting for you. But if they do something similar, small amounts of cargo could be worth huge amounts of money. So what's it called? The Mercury Star Runner? Is that the one? Yeah. Could actually be a really good ship for making money.
I think, you're looking at in the monetary terms of things of what you want to do straight away, but actually I think probably one of the most popular, I could be wrong, would be exploration, especially early on, because if you've got a big enough ship that can do it, what's the point of exploration? Is to be the first to find stuff. And so out of the gate, you're going to be the one I'm the first person on this. Like, the amount of times a new game starts and people go rush through because I'm the first one that's completed it. Woo! Yeah. And you'll be the people who a lot of those that want to do exploring are going to be wanting to be the first person to find a solar system, first person to find a new star or a new planet or whatever, however the mechanics are going to work. And so I do think out the gate, you're going to get a lot of people picking that because they want to make a name for themselves. I'm going to be the first person to find something, and there'll be a big race on for that for sure. I think
it'll be.
And there's some bigger
finding profitable areas for resources. I think that'll be one of the big things as well. Like what are the best areas for making valuable, resource gathering.
Yeah, I suppose like an Orion maybe would be a big ship that would be turning a good profit straight away. You wouldn't bother. Why would you bother? You wouldn't bother with a prospector. You would go for the bigger mining ship, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah. what's the one? I said Gemini. I didn't mean Gemini. I meant what's the one which is the one with the garden, the floating kind of spaceship garden with the pods.
Yeah, that's the one
Oh,
I'm thinking
brain.
about, but
I
can't
completely
remember
Miss
as well.
Endeavor.
That's the one. Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to make you quick money straight away, though.
It has to grow, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
You have to grow the weed before you can sell the weed.
And then the base building ship. You know, I mean, if you can turn, I really want CIG
to make you money.
I know, but this thing is okay. One of my favorite parts of Assassin's Creed and some of my other games was buying shops and having them give you a return. Now I know CIG doesn't want to have away from the keyboard monetary ways of people making money, but a part of me is like, well, that's a part of real life. Like people can be away. So I'm like, it would feel really cool. And I know for a fact, for some people, if you could be like a shadow broker type of character, within Star Citizen, where you own a space station and then people come to your space station, you have to protect it. You have to pay people and mercenaries to protect your space station. But, you can generate funds and generate resources from owning things, so like building things, like stations, space stations, or running space station, or owning space station, or building settlements and stuff like that, and generating.
I really
casinos.
hope we can.
We
can eventually have stations that can make money. I think I would like that, and maybe one way of doing it would be to you don't earn as much when you're not there. Like maybe it's only a fifth of what you would earn, and then when you're logged on, you earn more or something. Or when you're logged on, it earns a bit more. And then if you're actually at the shop, it would earn even more.
Yeah.
Like 100% of the profit or something. It could be a way of doing a tier system like that, so that you get a trickle fee, but it's not a lot. But like you said, it still feels like your shop's usable. And
yeah,
I mean, I played. Yeah, I mean, any other MMOs and things like that, you play all the same. They've all got auction houses and shops that you can put your item for sale, leave it, and that. And I agree. I love that sort of thing. And being able to have a station that people bring goods to, and you can actually turn it into a manufacturing thing and make stuff, and then you can choose what output it's going to make as well. It'd be a huge part of the gameplay. The opportunity missed if they didn't do it.
And a part of me, and I look at it in this way, is it's like, people talk about it in the game, they talk about like, oh, I've got no time. The gamers who don't have the time, they got families, kids, work, and there's a lot of them who are older, gamers for Star Citizen, who have very limited time slots that they can play the game. So if they, if they can't make the money, this is where, unfortunately, bit of greed and stuff, but because if they can't make the money in game to buy the goods that they need, they're faced with the pay to skip the time scenarios. Whereas obviously, this is why I get a little bit frustrated with CIG when they say they're not going to be able to make money in game, obviously for fear of bots and things like that, which I understand that side as well. But a part of me is like, for gamers who can't play all the time, not being able to make money when you're not playing the game is potentially a hindrance, and forces them down the road of having to buy UEC, forces them down the road to try and keep up by spending their hard-earned money that they earn in real life, which I think is a bummer. You know what I mean?
So, it really is.
I hope they don't. I hope they at least a trickle. Doesn't have to be a huge amount. If they worry about people holding down sections of space too long, you can make it so that AI comes in and sweeps out and totally destroys their base, so that they can't. You have to move on, or you have to sell after. You have the time limit of how long you can rent a location for. You're allowed this location, for this amount of time, and then you have to move on to another location or something. You can do that. There are ways of within the game you could kind of make it so that people are aware that, just try and stop bots and stuff. There's systems they could do, like clever things to stop that.
But allowing people to earn a bit of money when they're not online would be reducing the bots. And as like Paul's saying there, like if you're forced to stay online to sell, people are going to have bots. So that, I mean, it's happened in, I think Aeon had a major problem where it was like that. It's like all of a sudden everyone just when AFK put their shops up, so that they could sit there and sell all the time, even when they're not there. Whereas if that's what people are going to want to do anyway, then you probably need, if you just give them a set location, a little shop already, then you don't have to have the bot. It would just be making you some money in the first place. I mean, things change. They said they're not going to do that, but then the fact that you can go out on the website and buy credits, how is that any difference to letting you earn credits when you're not there in game? It's like, well, I could go and buy credits while I'm not there on the PC with my mobile phone and go, okay, I'll spend a $5. that's like the equivalent to me earning money if I was in game for 5 minutes. So, yeah.
But that's the point. The point is it lines CRG's pocket and pays for something rather than it's nothing. It's just your time. That's the difference. That's fundamentally why it pays them more if they push players gently. Or they push them, especially of a certain age, and a group is very clever. I don't know if they did it on purpose or not, or whatever, but it pushes those people who don't have time down that road, who are obviously financially, because they haven't got time, because they've got jobs and all the rest of it, to part with their money to stay with their friends who do. Say your best mate is unemployed, you've got a job, he's playing all the freaking time and advancing, and you kind of feel like you want to stay with the crew. So, hey, what's $15 every month? I'll just buy myself a load of AUC and I can or UEC. I can stay catched up with them. Whereas if it was a mechanic in game, he could make some money as well. At least he would potentially stay a bit closer, and maybe wouldn't feel so bad. He's probably still spending $15 as well, to be fair, because he probably still need to. But because the other guy's probably doing, he's probably got 20 shops and he's making even more money. But I don't know. Just a thought. Anyway, we'll see. I can see that the more we talk about these things, like, it's funny, like the more we talk about ideas, it's like it's the same thing as like a round table that these guys do. They talk about it and then it just goes up on the wall and then it comes down off the wall. It goes up on the wall and it comes down again. Yeah. That's not going to work. This is going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. It's it's really interesting. It's very interesting. So what we did see this week as well, which I'll just finish on, I think tonight, if you guys are cool with this, is the VTOL thrusters.
Yeah. Well, that's it's not too big a conversation, really.
No, exactly. So I think we could, unless there's any questions that anyone wants to talk about, which we could talk about towards the end of the show. But was the VTOL thrusters, like, what did you guys think of it? Did you see the video with David Coulson describing how the ships now have to be flat, and they originally said like strafe was going to be non-existent, but then they came back on that and said actually you are going to be able to strafe.
Video.
Which was like, okay. What did you guys think about it? Did you have any thoughts about it? Did you care? I mean, I personally didn't care that much, but
well, I like the system he implemented, especially for mining. I think it's he said you can actually pitch more and basically hover easier. Is that correct? I like the extra bit of skill to get involved. Let me put it that way.
Just crash even more now.
Never crash.
That was that's the thing. I was going to say it's more skill in flying your mining ship, which I was like, when mining is actually quite complicated as it is now in terms of having to maintain the little thing so it doesn't blow up.
Yeah.
I would have. You'd want your mining ships, like if you're designing it, to be as stable as possible. Like if I was making that ship and I knew that was one of the things it had to do, I would be designing automative things to really make that shit so you don't even have to think about it. If I was a designer, an engineer, I would be designing that so that you can stay, it's going to stay rock and you'd never have to do anything. You'd barely just move into position and that thing balances like a like the drones, like a drone nowadays. The drones are amazing. They just sit there, poof, they're amazing. Like that's how I would envision that should work. It shouldn't really be a case of, oh, guess what, guys, you can make it move more. They'll be like, no, I don't want to do it. Well, no, you got shit stay still.
Kind of how drones
I said it wrong.
Well, yeah.
It's. I think it's better for your visibility from cockpit. If I'm going slow and I'm searching something, it's quite difficult to do it right now because you can't look past your nose. Right? Now you can fly straight ahead with your nose a bit pitched down, just like a helicopter, and see more.
What you mean? Yeah.
That's a big advantage. You can probably do it right now as well, but it would be a lot harder because you have your main thrusters and your weaker thrusters that will have to force you up a little bit to get in that motion. This will make that easier, I think. And yeah, I don't know. You're not really a fan of it. I read.
Full.
Sorry, Madness.
Madness.
Or you didn't care that much about the whole system they implement.
The only thing I wanted to know was if I could turn upside down and hover as much as I could hover. I wanted to know because the way that the thrusters work on like some of the fighters and stuff is they're direct mirrored because of in space, so you can go exactly the same amount of thrust up, the same amount of thrust down. So in theory, in my views, I was just thinking for cool maneuvering and stuff and switching in and out of VTOLs and to see what you could do. The way I looked at it was like I should realistically be able to, if I can flick a switch, I should be able to hover completely upside down, exactly the same as this one. The only ships I shouldn't be able to do that with are those like for example is the Valkyrie, where the huge VTOLs turn downwards like that, or whatever. Anything that has like massive VTOLs that turn in that direction, unless they turn that way, which I think most of them just turn physically down, then they stay that way. You can't, I can't flip it upside down, because if I flip it upside down, those VTOLs are going to be firing. It's going to go crashing straight. They're going to have an overpower,
But I mean, the ones that have the big engines that face down, are they going to hover better because they've got bigger engines that are facing down?
They should.
And then, I mean, for me overall, I'd have to play it more to know whether it was better or not. I'm not too fussed. I mean, he's trying to make it feel better, so as long as it feels better, it's okay. The only thing I wasn't sure of or didn't really make sense was you saying all the thrusts face down to keep you hovering, but the back end of your engine is facing, that way, so you can fly forwards. So why can't you go forward with it? Because he was kind of saying you can't move without dipping your nose. But if you've got your main engines facing that way, then why can't you do that? You've got all the power there. So
thanks for the raid, by the way.
Should be possible then.
It's like,
we
what?
almost disappeared.
There we are again. Yeah.
Sorry, that was my computer. My computer just had a heart attack. It was like, oh my god, we're getting a raid from WTFO. What's up? What's up, guys? 07s, how you doing? Unfortunately, you come at the
upside
end.
down heat seeker.
So yeah, exactly.
But otherwise, exactly. I think the move. If it's going to make the flying feel better, it's going to make that sort of stuff feel better. Then there's no reason. I mean, it's lots of little tweaks, isn't it? Things, and you'll probably feel a difference between the ships as well. Then, so ones that have got the better thrusters are going to hover better, and they're going to still get a slightly better movement at that sort of height and hovering compared to the ones that can't. So
right.
I hope we haven't got
I
the
have
questions.
to rewatch
open,
that part.
Monkey. Don't open the questions, Monkey. Please tell me the questions are closed. We don't need any more questions. It's already 11:20 here in the UK. We don't need questions. It's fine. Monkey's like, questions, yes, questions now. People are here. It's like that. No. By the way, just
night here, so don't come.
For anyone that came in, because I'm sure we guys who've been watching and enjoying E3 and shit like that. Okay, how fucking cool is Cyberpunk and Keanu Reeves? Because we talked about it at the beginning of the stream. But was anyone else here like jumping off the scene? I mean, some people probably hated it, but for me, the highest.
Can you hate it?
I mean, some people like. Some people like not a fan, but you got to be that.
Fucking badass, man.
Was sick. Like seriously. And how many people here as well expect, like for me, you've just jumped in, do you think Star Citizen could be on the new consoles based on what we saw from Project Scarlet? Because we talked about that, touched on that earlier, but I think there's a very high possibility the Star Citizen could be if they continue the way they're going. So slow.
Trigger everybody as they turn
Trigger you all in chat, but I honestly, PC Master Race.
Talking about consoles.
PC Master Race. Consoles, baby. That's where it's at, boys and girls. They're coming. They're coming for you're coming for all those PC Master Races out there. That new Xbox controller as well looks sick. So yeah. So the VTOL thrusters for me, I was just like, as long as I can flip it upside down, and if that works, then I'm pretty happy with it. It made sense to me.
You can't.
If you can't do it, then I would be a little bit like, I'll be a bit bummed, because in theory, there's exactly the same amount of thrusters and there should be the same amount of thruster power on some of the ships.
So you should be able to flip it upside down and be able to do it if you can flip the switch. I don't, exactly the same. For certain ones, obviously you can't do it, but for some ones it'd be kind of cool to be able to flip it upside down and have some fun with it. And for me, I think it brings great new balance within the game for those ships that have better landing capabilities, like maybe the Cutlasses or the Freelancers and the the Valkyries or the dropships, you know what I mean, like the Prowler and all this kind of stuff, you know, if they can maneuver better on the ground, or sorry, not the ground, but just above the ground and stuff versus combat ships, and they can do it, then it gives them either a better chance of survival, and it gives them a better chance of, you know, being able to engage with ground stuff, and it weakens the ones that can't against, you know, Titan suits and tumbrils and land vehicles and all this sort of stuff, because as soon as they go into that VTOL mode, they're suddenly stationary and vulnerable and sitting there, and you don't want to, you know, you don't want to sit there too long when you're burning fuel and you're like, I don't want to be sat here too long, you know, like maybe I'm just going to land, you know, a lot more landing down. So again, which puts you in a vulnerable position. Like anyone that's a combat ship pilot like myself, as soon as I'm landed, or as soon as I'm not in the air and doing what I'm very comfortable with, I'm much more likely to die than when I'm actually doing what I'm really competent and good at. Henrik, nice. Hey man, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's happening. It's happening. Brace yourselves, boys.
It's alright if it's
Consoles.
Star Marine and Arena Commander.
It's happening. It's happening.
What's wrong with console people playing?
I don't get it. I don't get it.
What difference does it make?
I don't get it, man. It's outrageous.
But it's more the fact that he says, PC Master Race.
Yeah. PC
It's fucking bullshit.
It's fucking, I'm just a gamer, man. I play it on anything. I don't care what it is.
But if you didn't know what box they were playing it on, but they're just playing, what difference does it make?
Exactly. It's like when Tuba do the Coca-Cola testing. You know, you can't tell the difference, man. It's all the same. you take the label off, and it was like,
it's like those mini PCs that are about this big. Like, when does it become when's it a console? Or when's it a PC?
It's like,
is it
my
the size,
4K.
or is it just the brand that's stuck on it?
My 4K TV. It's like, it's about the refresh rates, my friends. It's not about the size. It's not the size. It's the refresh rate that counts. That's the reality. That's what you want to focus on.
Don't worry.
Of this 8K.
It's when it becomes a mobile game. That's when it really gets trigger people.
It's happening.
It's a mobile game.
2025. Only another 6 years. It'll be on mobile.
Yeah.
You know, but the next console, you know, is fine. It's absolutely fine. Ray tracing. I'm waiting for ray tracing. Like, here's the thing. Like, because we're talking about this briefly, and we just finished this up on this one. You know, we talk about like Star Citizen isn't pushing the boundaries of technology. You know what I mean? They're not pushing my graphics card or your graphics card at the moment. They're just not. They're pushing my CPU now and again. You know, now again my CPU is getting pushed, but that's just because of lack of optimization. But they're not pushing like the RTXs. They're not pushing ray tracing. They're not pushing. You know, like they talked a lot about, like, you know, people talk about Star Citizen pushing the boundaries of like technology and stuff for PC, but they're not really pushing anyone's graphics card, because I guess
that technology is more server side.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where it's at, and that's what's gonna be very, very exciting to see, because that's also mainly the reason why we're stalling a bit now.
Yes. Yeah. No, absolutely. I would agree.
Yeah, that graphics card, and what's gonna happen when they are switching over to Vulkan? I don't know. Maybe it's getting smoother, better.
I mean, you get some of the optimizations and tweaks, don't you, later on down the line, really. So those sort of things where it's going to use more, push that some more. It's like they kind of, you're producing like the effects and everything else, and then they go back to make it so that it's more efficient. But the reason making it more efficient is when they can put more in the game. So it's like that particle effect thing that we were watching on the Verse thing, whatever they renamed it to, RTV, because I can't remember the new name. But yeah, what they were showing there.
Inside Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Stupid. When you've been here this many years, it's still RTV, whether you like it or not.
RTV, yeah, no, that's like, I get it. You guys changed it, but it's like everyone here knows what it is.
Why?
It's Wingman's Hangar. That's what it is.
And this Friday, they're gonna create another new piece of armor. Yay! Boring.
No. See, like, you find out, I like that shit. Like, you know, I find like server meshing.
Finally, I could say it. But boring.
But I like it.
Shut up! Shut up!
I love it. You know, the more I'm curious, like,
what, if it's
to
orange,
see more.
Yeah, he'll buy it. He's already bought a 315p in orange, so he's already. We don't listen
so
to
they create the armor in orange. It's fine.
And a clock. As long as you get a clock and an orange spaceship, Buck will buy it. And yeah, that's it, boys. That's pretty much. I mean, when we were away, they had a few other things that kind of like, because we were away for 3 weeks. We've been away on holidays. They had caves. They had caves. They did have caves. The caves was amazing actually, and maybe we should have to talk about that next week. But yeah, the caves, like when I saw that, and then they kept like getting better and better, and then they showed us the kind of the latter stages of it. I was like, oh, you guys have actually done some work on this. It's not just grey box. It's like,
two guys.
Wow. Yeah, two guys.
Two guys.
Two guys, just two guys. There's a whole team of 7 people going, what about us? What about us? We did all the work. These two guys did nothing. They're just the lead. They just told us to do everything. Yeah, no, it was good. It was very, very good. And it's still just caves, and I still want to know what's going to go inside the caves that makes it worthwhile being lost in them for about 4 hours.
More rocks. Skeletons, lots of skeletons.
Nice. The technology is cool, and I looked at it more for asteroids. I was like, if they can do it on planets, then that means they can do it on asteroids, which made me get excited about bases and asteroid bases and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, because that for me, I still want more space gameplay. You know, like I do love the planet stuff, and I do, see the game becoming more and more obviously planet based. But there's a game called Planet Side, and it's kind of, I don't want it to become too much like that. I do want it to be a bit more about space as well. So
I would like to see some more space stuff. I mean, we get the truck stops, but they don't really serve any purpose at the moment. It'd be nice to actually see some station work, or like you said, a bit like a factory station that's actually working that we can visit and have input on. I definitely think some more space orientated stuff would be quite nice, other than just combat.
Yes,
hopefully soon.
You missed Keanu. Sorry, Coffee. He was he came in earlier at the beginning, kind of like when we had the high moment of the show coming back. You kind of missed it. If you want to watch, you just have to watch it on YouTube. It'll be uploaded everything on YouTube, and then you'll see Keanu. He makes a brief appearance.
He came around, give us high fives, and delivered his speech. Told us the release date of Squadron 42.
Yeah, he was just
and then walked off.
It was pretty awesome. Don't worry, we'll try and get him back again. It'll be fine. So yeah, we'll talk about caves. Well, I'm looking forward to catching up on this week's information before I go away. I'll be just so everyone's aware. So I'll be in Bali next week presenting my latest collection of footwear designs, sneaker designs. I look forward to sending pictures out and showing you all what I've been working on. Hopefully we might actually be able to sell some shoes this time. It'll be nice. And then actually I'll be able to point you guys in the direction where you can buy them, which will be even better, because I think last season's shoes will start to be going into stores soonish. So I'm excited. Hopefully this stuff is even better than the last ones. So I'm going to Bali to present. Can't complain. Lovely Bali. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then I'll be back to the podcast.
So you wait 2 weeks.
I'm away for 5 days. It's because it's only a conference. It's a conference, so basically you fly in, present, set up everything like for a couple of days of madness, present for like a day and a half, and then
a couple of days of madness.
yeah. It's carnage. And then once we've done the conference,
whenever he said that one,
pinching beautiful women's butts.
Well, you guys did see the Discord pictures with them. I do have to deal with models, okay? It's so hard. Like, what can I say? Yes, we get pretty.
They're advertising the shoes, so while they're all running around in knickers, it's like, they can wear clothes. You're just advertising shoes. They don't. Oh, you've all got to be naked while you're showing these shoes off. It's like
no. They have an apparel. We have an apparel team. They do the apparel, and they have to have shoes that go with the apparel. So it's not my fault that behind the scenes they have to take their clothes off, and I just happen to be there with a camera, and I'm taking pictures of the shoes, and they're in the background.
Just happen to be.
It's pure coincidence. Pure coincidence that happens, and it's an accident, and you know, and it's all about the shoes at the end of the day. You know, who really cares about them? But yeah, it's yeah, I'm looking forward to this again. But unfortunately, I'm just doing I just do bloke shoes this time. Last time I was doing men's and women's. I was covering both. I'm now back to just focusing on the men's footwear. So it's not going to be
hairy
as exciting.
feet.
It's just going to be blokes, I'm afraid, from my side. So
Just get some Crocs.
So yeah. But I hope to play 3.5 this week. I'll try and stream as much as I can before I go. And I'm really looking forward to getting back and getting hyped about 3.6 because I've been hyping.
Have a grey cap model to paint as well.
Oh yeah, shit, dudes. Yeah, I forgot. Hang on. You carry on. Tell us what you got. I forgot to mention.
What have you been up to? What are you going to be doing?
Well, I've been waiting for you guys to come back.
That's true. You could have done it without us. We did say.
True. I streamed a couple of times, but work got in the way. Some personal things got into the way. I'm coming back tomorrow with Star Citizen because I was playing it off stream today as well, and actually liked it. Didn't crash or whatever, but yeah, I got a shitload of other games to play as well. So maybe mix in some other games this week on stream.
Nice.
Could be anything.
Flick a coin and it's like one of those.
Yeah, maybe I have. And you, Mr. Miserable, what are you going to do?
I don't know. Well, him getting away, I don't know. It's so I'm trying to catch up with everything because obviously being away for 2 weeks, well, actually I was almost 3 weeks because of everything either side of it. So it's my garden looks like a jungle, so I've now got to literally cut all that down and start again because it just looks a mess.
Get it go.
We're having the bathroom done, we're having everything else done. So it's it's a little bit hectic here. I should be trying to do some painting this week, which Madness will show you the things. I haven't got my model yet, but we plan on painting, and I'm going to do a video for the grey cap model and putting it together, taking it apart, hopefully an unboxing, then a building and everything else. So if any of you have got the grey cap model from JRDF, can I just give you one warning and one piece of advice? Do not glue it together before you paint some of it. Do not glue the whole model together and say, right now it's time to paint.
And here's when I glued and painted it. I glued together.
I have one because they did it at the Bridgerton Con. But yes, don't do it.
Just gonna because we got a few people here now again, so we're just gonna advertise it again because these guys are amazing. And they're the official Star Citizen license to make models. And so I ordered a grey cat and they sent it to me. It's come in a beautiful little plastic case. There's no actual grey cat here. It's all pretend. Soon. It's coming in 2000. Comes in a really nice box, and inside the box
is air.
You get a really nice little instruction manual, not in Chinese. It has actually no text whatsoever. You have to completely guess. You have to completely guess. You make it up as you go along. But no, it shows you all the parts on a really, really, really nice artwork. And then you'll see here it's
one of those surprise eggs.
It's all in the gorgeous little boxes, and each one a piece. So it's all 3D printed. So you will need a little hobbycraft blade and knife and stuff because you'll need to take the supports off of it. Where you'll need to trim off the little support pieces, but that adds to the kind of the fun of it. And here's the most coolest thing is they did. I'm just going to check to see if I've got it here, which is awesome for us. So JR and stuff, they're really supportive, and they gave us little Asylum logos. I don't know if you can see them very clearly there, but we've got little Asylum logo transfers specifically for
the model, which is amazing. So I'm like massive hats off to these guys. Like I say, if someone, I think we've got some moderators in here, if you want to just throw in JR's link, I need to set up a link for that, but I will do. But you can feel free to give them a link. Go check out their webpage, and if you haven't bought one, I thoroughly recommend. If there's any available, I think they might have a few left. Not many though. There is a limited stock, I believe. So once it's gone,
it come with the tractor beam madness?
It doesn't come with the tractor beam,
but it can be orange if you want.
But it can be orange, and I can put I can glue a little clock in it. That's why it'll almost be as good as a 315p.
That's a promise. That's a promise.
Not quite, but yeah, it's
don't stick it together. Don't do it. But we'll make it and paint it and show it off.
And yeah, we're going to do it live on stream, so we'll paint it and stuff. And then if we do a good enough job, you never know,
We may give one away. If it's a really good one, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'd probably fuck it up, so no one will want it, but we'll see.
He'll give up his fucked up one and then get another one.
Then do it properly. And then we'll see what happens. But like I said, they're limited. They will run out. You know, I don't know if they'll do any more. All I know is I think I said is that the plan is that they will be doing other things as well. So I expect at some point, you know, they're going to be doing some spaceships as well. So it's exciting stuff for those guys, and there's all sorts of things that JR is doing. So if you aren't following those guys on Twitter or seeing their stuff, you must do, because they're amazing. And if you're a big part of Star Citizen, then they're well worth it. If you're new, they're well worth following. Obviously, Noah's put the link in. Thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate you moderators in there. I'm so glad I've given you the swords. Doing such a great job for me. Fired the lot of them. Big purge about to happen. So yeah, cool. Right.
All the purging.
Let's whilst we're here, let us find somebody else to throw everybody over to. The few people that stayed, which is awesome. Who else do we have? Who else do we got? Who should we host, guys? Give me some names in chat. Who would you like us to throw, you guys? Who should we throw everyone over to?
Oh, as you're doing that, as you're looking for someone, we did have one question by MK19, and he wants to know what size croc do you wear?
I have a 43, but that's
mine's the 10, but I don't know what that is in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's
what size will they fit in a bin? That's what I'm gonna know. You know, what size bin will they fit in?
We're working on getting Madness his own set of Crocs, because we know he's been missing out and he's been crying out for them.
If anyone finds my address and starts sending me cheap Chinese secondhand versions or whatever Crocs, I will move house.
I've just finished this. Finished this house. I do not need to be inundated like every day opening up a
bag with like freaking Crocs. I will go ballistic.
It will be a horrific idea. I wish I'd never even opened my mouth.
No, never gonna happen. What have we got? Relay, detox.
We could throw people over the detox. Yeah, we've never. He's always. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do that.
He's never on when we finish.
Normally, yeah. Let's throw you guys over to detox.
He's probably drunk, waiting for his baby.
Hey, the guy. This is going to be the last.
You just hear him. He's not on the screen. You just hear screaming, going, "Push, push!
Go on, damn it! You can do it!"
He's probably like, "Baby, hold it in just a bit longer. E3's on right now, and I really want to see this next game."
He said that. He was like, "Don't do it during E3. Whatever you do, don't do it during E3."
I'm with you in spirit, love. Get here now on the iPad. I'm going to be there in a minute. I swear to God, darling. I'm with you every way, every which way. Oh my God, did you see Keanu Reeves has just appeared on here? Right. Fantastic. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening. Thanks for everyone that's come along. We'll be back again. The guys will be back again on Monday. We'll be back to our full normal every Monday, 9 o'clock UK GMT time for the foreseeable future until we're all on holiday again. So take care. We'll see you all next Monday. And I